house and look at television for a while. Oh, why?
Because this discussion ain't for no little boys.
I ain't no little boy, Daddy. I'm 12 years old.
You want to make 13?
Come on, Winona.
What's up waiting in that line? We can do that at home free of charge.
I guess you're right. But the kids gonna be so disappointed.
Well,
JJ!
Mom, Dad, we went to the movies. It was, but we changed our mind. What's going on here?
What you doing dressed like this? And turn on, Sylvester, why are you holding him?
Well, like I told you, Mom, I'm going to this dance, and these are my escort. So we all turning loose.
Hey, man, get out of the way. We got business with the warlords.
Well, I don't give a damn who you got business with. My son ain't going to no gang. Like, what the hell are you doing getting mixed up with a gang?
I ain't say, you're in a gang?
No, Ma, they chose me. I didn't choose them. I told y'all not turning loose. I told you to get on, old man.
Who do you think you're talking to that way?
I'm Mad Dog, dig it. Get a Satan's Night's War Council.
Is that supposed to be something big?
You heard what I said. Mad Dog, you don't get your hand out my wife's face, I'm gonna slap a muzzle on you.
Junior ain't got no choice. And I won't tell him. Junior! Somebody's gonna have it right. Wait, show something. JJ, say something, baby.
Somebody's been shot.
James, the children are right. You did the wrong thing.
Now look, Florida, I'm running this house, and I'm not going to have our kids talking to me that way. Now, Junior, as long as you're living under my roof, you ain't going to do but one thing, and that's obey. Who says I got to live under your roof?
JJ!
Oh, what you trying to say, Junior? I'm saying maybe hard to leave. Oh, son, it's rough out there. You be back home before your suitcase stop rocking. I can make it on my own. Toulouse-Lautrec was 18 when he left home. I'm a year younger, but I'm a lot taller.
I think you're letting this go too far.
No, Mama. Mr. Jackson says I can use his storage room. Maybe I'll take him up on that. You mean to say you stay with a man who betrayed your father? Oh, Dad, that was 20 years ago. He's my patron now. Well, son, and that's if you care about being my son. If you go anywhere near Leroy Jackson's house, you can forget about ever coming back here.
James!
Who says I'm coming back?
JJ!
Well, you got your hat, get your coat.
James, please!
That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going back. I'll help you. I'm being asked to.
James, tell your son this is his house too.
If he sets foot outside that door, it ain't his house no more. JJ, you heard him, Mama. Goodbye, Mama. Goodbye, Michael. Goodbye, Thelma. Goodbye, almost everybody.
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of letting Michael show me some of them straight-A student tricks. Yeah. You got a real sharp crick here.
Get your feet up there.
Daddy, you sit over there. Daddy, in this house we pray before we eat. He's gone. Daddy, you sit over there. Daddy, in this house.
Chapter 6. Now, why don't you go on without me? Studying's for suckers anyway.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
Hey, man, Mike's studying. I don't want to bother him.
Yeah, when you get back in there and finish, man. But see, in this house, people study when they're supposed to.
Good thing I'm not a member of this house.
Well, you are this weekend.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, you heard of the extended family? Well, this weekend you part of one. It gives me the right to extend this belt to your behind if I feel like I say you always can see that. Or you would. I would anything apply to guess, mister.
You can't go on
ahead here.
You must be crazy. I don't believe it.
I'm a man believer out of you. No, you know the boy got it. Come on, get your behind it.
I hope your father doesn't go overboard.
Mama, you think Daddy really gonna give Eddie a spanking?
Here's a bean green.
Can James Brown get down?
Is your head dead?
Like a 6.5 on your
Judging from your high mechanical aptitude test scores, Mr. Evans. You look like a man we can really use.
Well, that's good. That's good. Now, when do I start?
It says here you were in the Army. You served in
Korea. Did my full tour of duty over there. Did my full tour of duty.
You are the father of
3 children, age 17, 16, 11. Did my full tour of duty over here, too. What day do I report?
You were born in 1942, which means you served in Korea when you were 10?
Oh, no. I was born in 1932. 32.
32. It says right here, 1942. Well, that's a computer error, I guess. We are suddenly confronted with a big problem.
Yeah, I guess you better get that computer fixed, huh?
No, you don't understand. You see, the Union Apprentice Program is designed for men between the ages of 18 and 35. I'm afraid that at 41, you're too old.
Too old? For what, man? We're talking about working. We ain't talking about playing stickball.
Yes. I'd like to help you, but this program is government funded and government rules can't be broken.
Now, wait a minute now. I done passed the government physical test. I done passed the government mental test. And I got a government letter here on government stationery that says I'm certified, qualified, and bona fide. Now, I want the government job.
I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. That's the way it is.
No, man, I tell you the way it is. I got a family. They need food on the table and clothes on their back, and I got to pay rent. Now, I need that job. Government rules can't be broken. Unless you're running the government. I'm a senior citizen, only have to wait 24 more years for Social Security. 4 more years for Social Security. All right, what y'all want to talk about? Well, I've known Thelma for a long time, man. We love each other, and what? Well, tonight we became engaged.
Oh, my Lord.
Thelma! What you mean you became engaged?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Information Man. And what we're going to do this evening, as the theme of the show is bringing back the true black manhood. Now, I played those clips from James Evans Sr. You know him from Good Times. He would take that belt. You see, let me let you see what I'm talking about. Pull up this screen here and bam. You see, he took this belt and he laid this belt to ass. Someone's trying to come in. Let me see, is that Cap? Cap, how you doing, man? Cap.
Am I on,
Yeah, but I need you to come in through the, can you go into the chat room and come in through the link in the chat room, brother? And I tried. Okay, just come in through the link in the chat room, because then you'll be right on the panel, because I actually got you on the phone now. Okay, thank you. All right, no problem, brother. I hope let me make sure I got, so one of the reasons why I wanted to play some of those clips, as funny as it might have sounded to folks out there, is that James Evans Sr. was the one that kept the family stable. You could tell in those clips he wasn't going to play any type of games. Okay, he wasn't going to compromise. He stood up. He was a constant family man. Even though they betrayed him living in a poor circumstance, he was a constant family man. He was manhood personified. And that's what we need to get back to. So tonight, for those that were able to make it and those that will probably make it later on this evening, and I hope so, we're going to get into a discourse around what it is to be a man, some of the issues that we deal with, because Black men in America today, there's an all-time assault on our masculinity. You notice, you've seen it in movies and you've seen it on television, and they've got the Morse brothers, they've got the feminine acting brothers, they got the finger popping type individuals, and they're trying to replace us as the masculine men. They're trying to replace us with this effeminate type energy that is not our energy. So we've got those issues. You got the issues for those of you that are fathers. What are our responsibilities as fathers? Even if you are in a situation where you are divorced or you have a child, and doing a situation, you need to be involved in your child's life. Now, those of you who don't have kids, there's always an opportunity to mentor young Black male or female, but particularly Black males, in order to let them see, to believe that they can become what they want. One objective is that they see that which they want to become, right? If they see the Black professional, whoever. So that is something that we need to examine tonight. We need to examine what are the solutions to some of the problems that we find ourselves in the Black community. Now, you saw today the wedding over there in England or Great Britain or whatever the hell we call it. And everyone's getting all excited because they think a Black woman has married herself into the royal family. And they don't give a damn about Black folks. This is the thing that's sick about it. Why would you marry into a culture or a family that has been responsible for colonialism throughout this damn world? That family that she married into, they are responsible for colonialism, for the division that you see in Africa, dividing up everything, taking over resources. And then they are responsible for sending these criminals over here in America, which were the Europeans that were kicked out of England. They came over here to what we call America, and they have spread a lot of their nonsense. What is going on in the? We got brothers on the panel, and I'm gonna have every brother introduce themselves to you. Some you know, some you may be introduced to for the first time. So we've got my man Oyalpo. Brother Oyalpo, talk to the people.
Peace. This is Oyalpo. And, I think most of you in the chat know me, and you have to excuse me. I'm a little bit tired. I'm on the East Coast, so it's a little bit late here. It's about 11:30 here, but I'm gonna hang in as long as I can. And I just want to say peace to Info Man, to all the brothers on the panel, and again to everyone in the chat room. I feel this is going to be a good and productive discussion.
Okay. Thank you, Oyalpo. And brother, just do what you can to stay with us. And if anytime you don't feel up to it and you're tired, brother, we'll understand. Lions Den, brother, from the Far East. You've been with me for quite some time, brother. We go all the way back to Blog Talk Radio. We go all the way back to US Talk Radio. We go all the way back to Janice Graham and her network. We've got India. They're listening to us out there, brother. We go way back. Lee Michaels, who's been a legendary radio programmer. We got my man Chris Basin, who, damn it, I should have had him on here tonight. Got to make contact with him. Lions Den.
What's good, everybody? This is Lions Den from the East Coast. How's everybody doing tonight?
All right. Peace. Now, we've got my man Locas. I love him. He's dynamic. He's energetic. He's technical. He's with us tonight. I'm glad that he was able to make it. I tried to send an invite to LAR movement. He said that if he could make it, he would try. I tried to send one out to Brother Super, 75. He said he gets off a little bit after 8. I sent him at least 2 links through his email, so hopefully he'll be able to come on if he can.
Hey,
there's another brother that I got to invite right now. I almost forgot somebody else I got to invite in, but go ahead, Lowcast. While you're talking, brother, there's somebody else I gotta invite in. I gotta invite him in right now. Go ahead, brother.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Peace.
Shit.
Hey, well,
what's going on?
Who's
out there cussing, saying shit? What's going on?
Does anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Cap. Relax, brother. Just relax. I'm gonna come to you.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I was online or not, bro. That's all.
You're online. Hey, Cap. It's all good, brother. You're with us. I'm gonna come to you in a minute. I'm in the process. Let me introduce the next person too. I got another brother that I got to bring into the program that I have mistakenly not sent him an invite yet. So let me get back into this right here. And we got my man, Odd Discourse, brother. Tell everybody what's up with you this evening.
Yo, what's up? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead and talk, brother. Yes, we can hear you.
Hey, what's up? Audio Discourse from LBC, straight up. Haha. Rocking that madness, on a Saturday night. Got off work, chilling with you guys.
Okay.
Word.
And we got my man, KD84. Brother, say a few words if you may.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's KD84, representing the city of Detroit. Been on this side of YouTube for over 2 months, and everybody knows I've been in the Royal Queens, Alicia Cabrera's chats, and every other chats around there, as long as Psychopathia's chat. Just glad to be here, Info Man.
Hey, brother, I'm glad to have you here. Believe me, I'm just glad to have you here. I gotta find this brother's contact, and we got, but I think he's got to unmic himself. I think he's got himself on mute. We got my man. Where is Underrated Darkness at? We got Aaron Collins, and then we got brother Sleep. Wait, brother, unmute yourself. Let me see here. What do we got? Hey, brother Sleep, unmute yourself, brother. Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody, brother.
What's going on? What's going on, y'all?
What's going on, man? He's got that strong baritone voice. I love it.
DS1. I'm representing Sheep State Sleep TV. Shout out to y'all.
Sleep State TV. I'm sorry. Sleep State TV. Make sure you subscribe to the brother's channel as well. Very important. Everybody on this panel, make sure you subscribe to their channel and support them. Okay, these brothers are doing good things on their channel. They're very dynamic. And we got my man, the real Aaron Collins, brother. How are you doing, brother? Let folks know how you're doing.
Hey, what's happening, brothers? It's me, the real Aaron Collins. I'm glad to be a part of the panel. I was born and raised in Southside Chicago, Illinois. Now reside in Los Angeles. I'm just here to help empower our people. Do what we need to do. And just get this thing rolling. You know what I'm saying?
All right, brother. Let's get it rolling. Let's get it rolling. So, brothers,
hold on, brother. You left me out, man.
Cap.
Hold on, what you trying to say, bro?
Yeah. Speak your piece, brother. Speak your piece. I'm sorry about that.
Yes, sir. To all my family out there, we're gonna take black back.
Yes.
Where it's supposed to be. So, salute from Texas. I'm done.
Cap, I'm gonna have you, out of respect to you, brother, I'm gonna have you start us off tonight. We're getting the issue is around bringing back true black manhood. Now, I want you to open up the program with your thoughts around those issues about where are we at in terms of black manhood. You see all the assault on us in the media, how we're demonized, how they try to create a pathology or say that we're pathological, that we're criminal, and then at the same time they want to feminize us in the entertainment world. You being a man that's been in the military, you being a brother that teaches about survival, how to survive, how to defend yourself. You do it all the time on your program. And you're an older brother who has seen things. You are military trained and experienced veteran. Where has the black manhood gone, if it has gone? I know I was raised, I'm a Generation Xer. I know I was raised in a community where you had to respect your elders. Right. You get your butt whipped by your elders and you get your butt whipped by your mom. Everybody knew everybody in the neighborhood. That was a freaking code that we had to play by. And it seems today that we have kids out of control. We've got people just doing whatever flies their way. So, brother, bless us with your thoughts.
Okay, first off, to the sisters that's in chat right now that may be single mothers, please do not take this as an offense. Please do not. But when it comes to a black male, you're not equipped to teach a black male how to be a man. Because speaking from my experience, I had to join the hardest military to become a man. And now it's funny how I come back as a man, they're scared of it. It's not to be feared. It's to just be respect. It's like, I respect you for the hard work that you put in to try to do the best you can to be a man. Now to the men, woo, today's era, wearing these little tight, skinny ass pants and trying to sag with that tight shit, those are ones you got to pull to the side. Say, look, man, that ain't manhood right there. You want to try to expose your booty hole for easy access? That ain't cool. You got to be able to stand your fucking ground as a man, because that's the only way to get our women respect, to let them know to sacrifice, they will appreciate that. But at the same time, sisters, you got to appreciate the man that's willing to stand up for you. Because I'm in a tough spot to where I try, not try, but I do what is right, what a black man's supposed to do. Now, I don't want to hear no, it turns me off when I hear a sister just being disrespectful to another black man that's not showing no disrespect to her, and vice versa. You know, and black men, get out there and learn self-defense. Learn how to shoot a gun. Learn all of that stuff. Stop being so pussified by the way how the white man wants us to be. It's not our way. It's not our spirit. It's not our mentality. We're naturally strong as men as well as the sisters. Well, you know that you know a strong sister when she can relate, when you can relate to each other. And there's some sisters out there that want to include the white people, which I have no, I'm not saying that all white people are bad, but I say there's maybe like 0.001% that are real good and legit. You know, so you got to do your own research. You got to pay attention. You got to put it to a test. So I can go on and on, my brother, but I want to pass the mic on to the other brothers.
Okay. Underrated Darkness is trying to come in. Let me answer this. He's going to come to one. Underrated Darkness. Brother, I need you to come in through the link. I'm going to put a link in the chat room, okay? Okay, brother? Yeah. I'm going to put it in the chat room right now and put another link in there, because you came in through my phone and I want to get you right into the panel. Okay, so he should be coming in pretty soon, folks. Let me go over to, for the sake of time, because I know Yalpo is a little sleepy. Brother Yalpo, what is your perspective on where we are right now as it relates to black manhood, our masculinity, where we stand right now, given all the climate that we're in?
Well, thank you, Info Man. I want to just say that Cap, you're definitely on point. And I want to say something real quick about the whole social media environment and personality and character. Because see, a person can present themselves as anything on social media. But my whole thing is, and I tell people around me, and I tell everybody I talk to, what I present myself as online, the person that you see online is the person that you would meet in real life, in person. And as men, it's important for us to realize the difference between character and personality. Because your personality is the way that you present yourself to people. Your personality is the way that you behave. Your character is the way that you behave when you don't think anybody's watching. So it's important for us to be men of high character, high moral standards, not in the type of a way where we're trying to do all this being accountable to white people. I'm not even talking about that. But we do need to be accountable to each other, number one. And number two, as men, it's incumbent. Well, I'm an older gentleman, so as an older one, it is definitely incumbent upon us to train our younger men and teach our younger men the ways of manhood, and also to model manhood before them, and to model manhood before our daughters. Because when our daughters go out seeking men, they need to know what a good man looks like. And that's one of the problems, is that they don't know what a good man looks like. Most of that is because of media and the images that are portrayed. But our young people don't know what, our young men barely know what a good man looks like. And our young women definitely don't know what a good man looks like. So that's why we have to be people of character and high moral standards. And just like Cap was saying, we have to be like real men out here again, so that our young women can know good men when they see them, and they know bad men when they see them.
Wow. Those thoughts that run through my mind. You said high moral character, and that's something that when I was in college, it was something that was drilled into me in my organization about living up to high moral character, the way a man carries himself, being a learned man, studying, knowing what's going on around the world, being well-read, well-versed, and then the respect and chastity of womanhood that were some of the aims that I learned in school by other Black men. And I just love that you made that mention, Brother Oyapo. That's something that resonates with me big time. So, brother, I really thank you with those statements that you just made. I would like to come over to, let's see, we got my man, I'm going to go to Lowcast right now. Lowcast, you've heard a little bit of where we're going right now. What are your thoughts, brother?
All right, coming up in some unique circumstances is different from most people. I will tell you this much, is that being a man, growing up, not say growing, excuse me, back up. It's a tradition for manhood. You know, boys, boys don't just turn into men because of age. You know, there's a certain type of thinking process, there's a type of behavior that has to go along with being a male. You understand? And I think that's something most women don't understand. You know, it's kind of like understanding that, you know, if you had to look at a man as being a tree, it's the type of tree that you have to prune, you have to graft it, you have to plume, you got to cut the branches back at a certain time, or the tree is just not going to grow right. You know? And that's really all I got to say about it for now.
I hear you. Lion's Den, what do you have to say, brother, so far? Well, we go deep into this.
Well, first of all, we have to understand that people, us brothers, it's the difference between boys and men, okay? And age, I mean, we have to mature. It's all about maturity. You know, we have to understand as men that we have to face, because women, Black women, some of us have little girls to look up to, and they want us to protect them. To be honest with you, we as men have to really realize that we are the leaders, not the followers. And there's a difference between followers and leaders. Are you a follower or are you a leader? because, like I said, some of us have sons and some of us has daughters, and they both, the son and the daughter, want us to lead them to the right direction. So obviously, ladies and gentlemen, we have to understand that at the end of the day, all of us are leaders, and we have to teach our sons and daughters to lead them so that they can grow up being as leaders and not followers. And that's all I have to say right now.
Okay. The other brothers, unmute yourself so I can get Underrated Darkness to make a few statements. Aaron Collins, say a few things, brothers.
This is the real Aaron Collins. So what was the question, information man?
Well, I started off with saying, where do we find ourselves as it relates to black manhood and masculinity, considering the fact that there's been an all-time assault, I believe, on the image of black males. That's really, in terms of this conversation right now, the area that I was going into. We have an assault on our masculinity by the media, by movies, television, whether we're thugs, whether we are we're criminalized in this society. And then on top of that, we got to deal with being feminized in this society. And with the way things have changed, where has manhood, where does it stand today? Especially since, yeah, go ahead, brother.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree, Info Man, that black manhood has seriously been neutralized. And with the culture that we're living in today, that a lot of our young men are looking toward images of gangster rappers and looking at athletes as symbols of manhood instead of true black men. Like you said, that the upstanding, the righteous black man is frowned upon in place of these other images that I just mentioned, because being righteous is looked on as not cool, and being you a punk and all that. Whereas you have people like the 50 Cents and little Uzi Verts, that's who youngsters want to be like. And this is the images that are perpetuated consistently by the media and Hollywood. And we definitely, it's an issue that we need to take back. We need to take black back.
And the question, Underrated Darkness, same question to you, brother, if you're listening. Same question to you.
Well, for me, as for me, we gotta do for ourselves. And I'm gonna cut on the camera to show you my food, show you my part of being.
Yeah, he wants, brother, Underrated Darkness wants to present some of the delicious food that he's prepared. So go ahead and show folks what you got, Underrated Darkness. Give folks a good look at that.
Y'all see it?
I think you're going to have to take your avatar off so that everybody can see that. Your avatar is still on.
That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to hit this. Still ain't come on. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
This is what I made. This part of being a man. This part of advocate for yourself. This is chili, cut up with little franks and Italian sauces melting with cheese. Part of it we got to get back to do for ourselves.
Okay.
And I think that are the. I think for me that's one of the things that we got to get back into. We got to get back to. Let's stop waiting for other people. Let's do for ourselves. And then when we do for ourselves, everything will pass on. So, but go more on your point though, brother, that we have to understand that us as men, we do have choices. And we have to understand that, yes, there is at times that there are certain sectors of society do not want us to talk. And even like there are some sisters, sad thing about it, some of the control the airway do not want us to speak. But of things like this that we should have more. We should voice our opinion. We should voice the facts, and not just voice opinions. Let me rewind that. We should voice the facts and never be afraid to stand on the truth. Like my hashtag say, truth wagon. I always say this, as an alpha male, I hold my own truths and I hold my own nuts, and I stand behind that. And that's all I'm gonna say about it this time. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else on the panel wants to speak their truth?
Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this.
Okay, go on, brother.
I think the state of black men today, we're in a state of confusion. We're in a state of delusion. We have the wrong concept on what being a man is. We believe that having a whole bunch of money and being rich and being materialistic is being a man. We think that all we can do to show people that we're men is to have a bunch of money and have sex with a bunch of women.
Ooh, and that's what I'm talking about.
And we think that's what manhood is. And we think that's what manhood is because the people who pretty much dictate our narrative to us through the media, those are the people that they prop up to our youth, to our young men. This is why our young men look up to Lil Uzi. This is why our young men look up to Young Thug, because they're seen as a sense of power. And black men, we're powerless. We're powerless. That's why a lot of our women don't respect us, because they see us to be powerless. And that's because what they think is power is having money and having fame. So the problem is we're all confused, but mainly I think that if the man begins to gain his consciousness back and to understand what actually being a man is, because to me, I was taught by my father that being a man is making something out of nothing. Being a man is to be respected when you don't have $1 in your pocket.
Yes.
Being a man is standing on your word and doing what you say you're gonna do. And I think we've lost those things in the black community as men, because a lot of us don't stand on what we say. A lot of us, really don't have a say, period. A lot of us don't have a say in our households. A lot of us are not respected just as us, being men or being the male figure. And that's because, our image of authority has been tainted because of what our women see happen to us in the media. Why do you think they always showing the police killings? Why do you think they always show us getting our ass whooped by the police? Because it's to make our women see us as powerless. And
it's a mental condition.
The way they think that we can regain our power is to have money and to buy a bunch of shit.
And let me ask
we're
you
just
this,
in a state of delusion, bro.
Because you're taking us where I really wanted to go tonight. We somehow, you're absolutely right. We think that think about it. Black people right now in this country, we are one of the biggest consumers of goods, cars, watches, bling, bling, whatever you want to call it. And I've noticed growing up that people get excited over bling, bling, over the shiny things, right? As a way to project that I am somebody. And you're right. A woman is not going to follow a man who, one, has no direction is not building anything, because we must maintain our communities. If we're not building anything, creating anything, check this out. Let's be honest, brothers, tonight. Our women, when they go to get a job, who do they have to go to get a job from? The very white man that we talk about and say that we're sick of or that we have problems with. But at the end of the day, we're not creating infrastructure to employ our women. And then we expect them to submit to us, to respect us. And the reality is black men in America are not creating infrastructure in which our black women can say, I'm going to a black man for employment. The black man's paying me this check today. No, she has always been dependent and culturally conditioned to be dependent on the white man all the way back to the welfare system. Remember, there were two guys. It was called the Morningham and Fraser report, in which they said that the black community was what? Pathological, because the family structure was not a nuclear family structure where you have a father, a mother, 2 kids, and a freaking dog, right? So black women getting that welfare system and buying into this feminism, which has been a big disaster for the black community, they took on the government's food stamps and welfare as the nipple and suckle to maintain their lifestyle, and then the welfare system says you can't have a man in the household if you want these government subsidies. But then,
hey brother, information man, can I just like 5 seconds?
Yes, sir. But
one of the things our system need to do is let go of that white Jesus fake ass savior. Then we'll be all right.
I totally agree with you, Cap. But understand that. Understand exactly what you said. Because of the cultural conditioning of looking at Jesus as white and blue-eyed and blonde-eyed. Look at the implications of it. We grow up with that image. And then when our women go out into the world, they go to who to get employment? The same individual that is on that image of Jesus. It's being reinforced. And then we as black men feel that we feel in some sense low self-esteem because we're not creating these infrastructures. And then we try to build our character or build our self-esteem for ourselves up by doing exactly what the brother said. Buy a fancy car, buy this, buy this. We put on this costume. All right. Remember in the movie, what was that, American Gangster, when the scene when Denzel said, you're wearing a costume, man. The loudest man in the room is the weakest man in the room. Mm-hmm. And so what are we really giving to our community when our masculinity in general has been wrapped up in treats and shiny things rather than substance such as building? Now, we know that we have built some things in this society. We know that there were black businesses. We know that we can do it because we did have it. But where in the hell have we lost it as it relates to our black masculinity and manhood? And what you just said, brother, you put us right where we need to start looking at and figuring out solutions. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, can I say something? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let me interject something here. Let me interject something here. You know,
go right ahead.
Because this started a long time ago, way back, even before the welfare system. You have to realize that when you're dealing with white people, they understand that black people created science, mathematics. We're better athletes. We can pretty much outdo them in any area. Therefore, if you have someone who is superior to you in every way, what you have to do is stack the deck in your favor. And what they ended up doing was that they said, you know what, if we control money, if we control the economy and finance, all we have to do is, first off, we get in control of everything financially, and then we create the illusion that that a person is what they own. A person is their position in life, how big their house is, their car, and so on. And so now you have a system that was created by somebody that has the deck stacked in their favor, so that they seem like they have all the power and control, and that anyone who doesn't have the baubles is something less. And one of the things that we have to do in this, because I'm always talking about separation and mental separation, one of the first things that we have to do is separate ourselves from the bling. We have to separate ourselves from the feeling that having a big car, having a nice house, or a big house, and all these clothes and all this stuff, is what defines who we are. And it's not what defines who we are. It's not what defines our community. I was thinking about Africa and the fact that all the precious jewels come from Africa. So when you had kings and queens, when you had other people, other status and statures in life in Africa, you're living basically where the diamonds and rubies and everything else is. Therefore, their system could not have been based upon money. It could have been based upon your status is what you have. It had to be something different. It's the white man that attached all the attached like that, like a false value to these different things. So once we get out of that whole mindset of everything being based upon what you have, now you have to take care of your family. You have to have a house, a car, and so on. But you don't have to have a mansion. You don't have to have a Bentley. You don't have to have a Lear jet. You know, you need to live and be comfortable and at peace.
Hey, can I be with you, brother?
Yeah. We got brother food, clothing, and shelter on. How you doing, brother? Straight from Hawaii.
Yeah, what's going on? It's night out there. It's still daytime over here. What's going on?
Okay. So, all right, brother. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're aboard. We're just talking about black, manhood, bringing back true black manhood, and what has happened to us right now, and what are the solutions. Now, brothers have made some good points about a lot of this flash, that a lot of times that we as black men get caught up into this flash, and then you have the issues around do our women respect us? I mean, let's be honest. I was just saying to the brothers, we don't really. I mean, in wholesale, we don't really employ our black women. When they wake up in the morning, they're going to jobs to deal with people that we talk about are oppressing us, right?
Yeah.
And we know at one time the black community had its own structure, its own banks, its own businesses, but we've gotten away from that, and we've gotten caught up in this flash, and we're letting celebrities and entertainers be our spokesperson, and somehow the masculinity of what it is to be black manhood, taking care of your family, being responsible for your family, yourself, and having some kind of code that you play by has sort of shifted as they feminize us in this world we call the 21st century, 2018, brother. So I'm kind of giving you a little summary of what we're kind of talking about, where we're going. Whatever you want to add, brother, go right ahead. This is brother clothing, food, and shelter. This brother is a deep brother. And go ahead, bless us with some of your words.
I think I agree with. I can't even see the brother name. I don't want to slaughter his name.
Brother Oyapo.
Oyapo. I agree with him, and then and I just want to build on a piece of that, is because what we got to realize is that today we empower the wrong things. I understand that Africa is rich, full of rubies, gold, all that kind of stuff. But if you look at it, these rubies, diamonds, they give you no power to the people. If you look at it, I got this lighter in my hand. And then if I sit here and I tell all the people that this lighter is worth $1 million or $1 million hours of work, then as long as the people identify that as being true, then it will be true. So now I'm going to say they got us away from ourselves because we lost the power of the #1 resource that's on this earth is humans. And then they transform us to even call our women baby mamas for having kids. They call our men baby daddies for having kids. And you know what? If we don't transform within a system of marriage, guess what they do? Guess what they call our kids? They call them bastards. So now automatically the system is designed to make us look and hate each other over something that naturally occurs. And if you look at the deeper point, you can have all the diamonds in the world, but if I have the true number one resources, which is humans, I can take every last diamond that you got. See, they take that away from us. Now it's one motherfucker. It's one. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse. It's one man.
Go ahead, brother. Say it.
With all these millions of diamonds, and then I got all these millions of people. But because I give him power with his diamonds, guess what happens? I take away my power with my number one resource, kids. If we get back to the basics of nature, nature tells us that the number one resources are humans. So now our women ain't baby mamas, they mothers. Our daddies ain't baby daddies, they're daddies. And then if we don't follow a construct that they design of a systematic suppression, in my definition of a concept of marriage, we call our kids bastards. And then we destroy ourselves. Think about it. We destroy ourselves. I'll fall back. I'm sorry, brother.
No, brother. Let me tell you something right now. Don't hold back. We're not here to play. This ain't a tea party we having. We're not drinking tea and crumpets. Say how you feel. You might say a couple of cuss words. I don't care. Say it how it is. We just been kind of warming up. But we're gonna get as we go on. I think brothers are gonna open up more. KD84. I need you to bless us, brother, with your words. You've been sitting back calm and cool and collective. Bless us with your words before we go back to Odd Discourse and Lion's Den.
Well, I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna say this, man. Some people ain't gonna like it, but I'm just go ahead and say it. The state of black manhood today, I could not be more embarrassed to be a black man today, because what I had to go through and what I had to grow up with, I basically grew up next to nothing. I didn't even grow up with a spoon. What I don't see today is a lot of young homies, they don't know how to survive. They don't know the first thing when it comes to a little toughness. The thing that we're missing now is mental toughness. We don't know how to survive through anything. You know, we always got to be coddled with something. And the problem is, every time we're coddled with something, we always end up being comfortable. We got to learn at some point to live without comfort. And a lot of these young homies today, they're too damn comfortable. I grew up without comfort, and look how I turned out. I've been mentally tougher than I've ever been before. I faced death twice. I got robbed with a gun in my face. My head was down to the ground. I had to do everything that man said with the gun in order to survive. And I survived that. So what we have to do as men, we have to learn how to survive tough circumstances without being comfortable. And I'll leave it at that.
Hey, KD84 and my man, Food, Clothing, and Shelter. I got to give y'all a clap for that. Listen up.
Oh, man.
I love it. This is what I'm talking about, baby. Hey, look, our discourse. Bless us with something, brother. You've been set back in the cuts. Our discourse. Did you fall asleep for me, brother?
No. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, brother.
Yeah, this kind of I had to move my location. Yeah, you know, it's a trip just thinking about, I'm just listening to what everyone has to say, but one of the things that came to mind, and I forgot the brother's name earlier that was talking about morals and stuff. I think a lot of the younger generation, unfortunately, is kind of like, how could I say this? We're in a very nihilistic state. Like, I think even Cornel West talked about black nihilism, where nihilism is like basically the highest things losing value, like our morals and just things about our struggle. It's like, I don't want to be too critical of a lot of millennials. I feel bad even saying that. And every generation sensibility of even the generation that is now, so I'm trying not to sound too judgmental when I say this, but I mean, like a lot of things today just doesn't seem to have any value like they did for us. I grew up with two parents, very young parents when they had me. My dad, I mean, man, my dad's like my hero, you know, like total icon. I can't say that I've always been the best example because of just things that I've kind of, I don't want to say failed, but just certain mistakes that I've made. But yeah, I've always had that foundation to come back to that my parents taught me, even when I got off, you know, like, but today's generation, so a lot of times I see it, I'm trying not to be too critical, especially because I work with a lot of youth, you know, and it's just, you know, I don't know, like but just to see, like, even when you're talking about like a lot of the music and subcultures and stuff, and how it's a bit more feminized in a sense. I feel like a lot of people, especially us, a lot of the men, you know, today, not all, but like a larger contingency of it than when I was coming up. You know, I'm an Xer as well. It seems like a lot of them have become feminized, and I think that, to be honest, there is a program. I'm gonna be honest with you. Even though I don't ascribe to like being gay or anything like that, I think the thing that kind of bugs me about like what's being programmed to us, you know, I'm not bashing any gay people when I say this. I don't know if anyone is, and I hope no one takes this the wrong way. But I hate when certain things are such a program to us, like almost in a sense where they're promoting this type of thing almost as, well, this is what you are. It's like, wait a minute, you know, like not all of us have, I mean, how could I say this? There's a lot of us that probably, you know, aren't like that. And then for the ones that are, it's just like, hey, I know brothers like that may be like that, but at the same time, they're still all about black first. But I hate when people kind of try to, like, I feel like a lot of the media is promoting a lot of this stuff just to kind of like downplay our own manhood in a sense, you know, like where it's just like, okay, the only safe black man is a gay black man, and no disrespect to all, you know, the people that are gay out there or anything like that. But it's almost like they're kind of playing this weird character that any black straight man is like almost like some kind of monster, you know, or some rapist or whatever. And then you have us. I'm so sorry, you guys. I don't mean to be too long. You have a lot of basically the society promoting this nihilism of a lot of even morals or situational ethics, to where it's like certain things just don't matter no more. It's just how basically however you define it is what it is. And when there's certain things that are foundational, and so morals are becoming, you know, what is moral, what is not. I mean, is there a such thing as morals when it's this nihilistic ideology where those things are there's no foundation? I guess that's what I'm trying to say in that sense. Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I've been saying that, brother. Seems like, let me just say this, and then Cap, if you want to say something. Well, let me start off with this first of all. I'm just kind of curious. How many brothers on here grew up in a two-parent family versus how many brothers on this panel tonight grew up in a one-parent household? Because I can tell our discourse by the way you're talking, you grew up in a two-parents household.
I did. I
grew up with I noticed that the brothers that I have met, when I talk to brothers who grew up in a two-parent household, they kind of have a different perspective from brothers who grow up where they only grew up with their mother. Now, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but let's just take a little vote here. I grew up, my mother and father divorced when I was very, very young. And then my mother divorced and left him, but she was the primary person who raised me, okay? Although I knew who my father was, I used to go and visit back and forth back east, but my mother was the primary person that was there for me because my father was never really there for me. So I had to get a lot of my masculinity or my manhood, like a lot of black men tend to do, from playing sports and having coaches and all that sort of stuff, you know, and I had a lot of black coaches and, you know, boys club, all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't really ever replace a real father in your life. But that's my journey. You know, I was a latchkey child. I'm a Generation Xer. I grew up where you didn't get participation trophies. You got kicked in the ass. If you didn't win, you don't get no damn trophy. You don't get no damn pat, no damn bat on your back.
Right.
So how many of you brothers out there had 2-parent families or just had 1 parent? We can start with anybody who wants to say something.
I grew up with both parents, but I also grew up with my aunt too. I lived with my aunt for a spell after my cousin, which was her son, got killed by the police, ironically, in Chicago. Wow. So I went to go live with her, and but she always she always treated me as a son anyway, because you know there were some things I could talk to her that I felt like I couldn't talk to even my parents about. So I had a little bit of both. I mean, I grew up in a 2-parent household, but also grew up with my aunt too.
Okay, so I'm looking in the chat room, and it looks like Afrocentric Anatomy TV says she had 2-parent household. Quite a few people in the chat room have put up 2. Stop the BS Now said 2 parents. So everybody, Nicole Ali has 2 parents. Yapo said 1.5.
One.
I had one.
Hey,
I have 1 too.
Yes, sir.
Info. I
had 0.
I didn't want to seem like I was bashing.
Okay. Let me get to the next. Who's trying to get my attention right now, brother?
It's me. I just wanted to say one thing. I'm not. I didn't mean. I wasn't trying to bash anyone, whether they had 1 parent or not.
No.
I just wanted to make sure that I was.
Brother, we're not here to hold nobody's hands and to write nobody's nose. We grown men. Grown men. Take it. Take whatever criticism.
Hey, can I say something?
I was just simply saying that I was curious to know what people's family background were in terms of the 2-parent versus 1 parent, because of the fact that sometimes people with 2 parents have a different perspective than someone who's only had 1 parent. So that's why I was asking that. It's no put down. I mean, this is real, man. We just got to, see, that's our problem as Black folks. We have to stop being afraid to talk about things that even embarrass us, okay? That's how we have to come to solution.
Well, Info Man, most of my childhood, I grew up in foster care in the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
And let me ask you, KD84, how did growing up in the foster care of the streets, how did that impact your manhood or what you think it is to be a man?
Well, the truth was I was forced to grow up a lot faster than I could. I really had little to no time to be a kid. I had to learn from what I could see. And it was pretty tough for me, you know, because you got so many adults telling you what this is and what that is, but I had to end up finding out for myself. And that was the toughest thing to do. I mean, most of my manhood, I had to learn from a freaking janitor when I was 15 years old, and that was my first job, and he had to sit me down to tell me what a man is. So I pretty much got most of my manhood that you see today from him.
Wow. Info Man, can I speak on
Go ahead, clothing, shelter, and food, my brother. Go ahead and say a few words. Bless us.
He brought up a good point, and he was talking about the homosexual agenda, and I think it fits the topic of your of the title. You know what I'm saying? Bringing back the true manhood. You know what I'm saying? Yes. A man exists. Only purpose that a man exists is to recreate or procreate, to recreate, you know what I'm saying, life with a woman. So now when you're dealing with the concept of a homosexual relationship. 3, 6. You dealing with
I'm sorry. I should have had the thing on. I'm sorry about that. Brother. If
you deal with the concept of a homosexual relationship, what is the end product of that? It's nothing. You can't have nothing from because the deeper understanding, and see, I like to deal with natural terms, natural concepts. You know what? The sexual pleasure of sex is because if sex wasn't pleasurable, then guess what? No matter what creator you believe in, if the creator did not make sex pleasurable, then you know what? Nobody will recreate. That's just facts. You won't just have sex just to be doing it. You know what I'm saying? So now, if we understand that the pleasure part of sex is to force us to reproduce, then you deal with the concept of a homosexual relationship. There's no progression in a homosexual relationship. You cannot reproduce. Everything that you live for as a man or a woman, it stalls. So now it's the brother, you're not bashing homosexual. All you're doing is dropping the facts. Homosexual relationship, the end state of homosexual relationship is nothing. The end state of a man and a woman having sex is equal to another creation. So now the whole agenda that's given to us, it produced us with that bullshit that tells us that you can get something out of a homosexual. No, you cannot. It's dead. It's dead.
Well, you know what? You're right about that, because if you were to take people that were homosexual and put them on an island to live amongst themselves, and if you were to come back to that island after 100 years, the whole island would be dead because they can't reproduce themselves.
Exactly.
So you make great points.
Exactly.
I mean, this is not, let's be afraid. I'm not here to bash anybody for whatever their lifestyle is. I know what my lifestyle is. People do what they want to do. I may not agree with it, but I know one damn thing is that I'm very concerned about this sort of imagery impacting the manhood of young people growing up, black males particularly growing up today, because we talked about this before, brother. Look at our clothing. You can't even go to a damn store to buy masculine clothing anymore. You can't buy pants that fit you loosely. You know, a little bit of loose boot cut jeans. You can't wear a shirt that fits you in a masculine manner, because every damn shirt and pants that they're selling you has been designed with this effeminate type of design to it, and you damn near have to wear booty hugging pants because that's all they're selling you at the store. They're damn sure going to get us ready for booty hugging underpants if they haven't already produced those for us now. And I know I'm sounding kind of goofy and everything right now, but I'm just
You're right. And see, the biggest thing about it is the homosexual agenda is the biggest problem right now dealing with the black community, because now it takes so many lives. We're not even analyzing how deep and how many lives the homosexual agenda is taking away, because now it's not adding to. So if you're not adding to, then you're subtracting from. This new homosexual agenda is really destroying the black population. Nobody is saying that. Everybody is accepting reality, even though reality is destroying us right before our eyes.
I'm just going to
want to bless us with some of that knowledge.
I just want to say this one thing. Homosexuality is there for one reason. It is there to help us get depopulated. Straight up. You take away our manhood and then you kill us. That's how it's done.
So, brothers, let me just ask this question.
I'm gonna go on from the spiritual perspective.
Go ahead.
And one man, one woman. And he told them that there's a reason why a man and woman have two different sexual organs, so they can produce. A man has a penis, the woman's got a vagina, and the man has a sperm, the woman has the egg, and when you put those two together, you create a life. You cannot put that together when you have two dicks banging each other or two vaginas banging against each other.
There you go, brother. There you go. Yeah, you said the right thing. As me, I was raised by nothing but females in my household. Okay. I had two uncles that served in the military, and I had a brief moment with them, as much as I can recall. But once I joined the military, I came back home, and they saw a different me. They became scared. They want me to return back to the child or the person I used to be. I said, it's impossible. This is what you need in this household. You need construction. You need a discipline. You need a direction. Now, I'm not bashing our sisters, no, not whatsoever, because our sisters, they're naturally born, made to nurture the child. But at the same time, you got balance where the man come in there and give direction and discipline and all kind of good stuff. You know, forgive my memory, but that's how it is. And I have to learn that being raised by all females. So all females, I give love and praise and respect to y'all to do the best y'all can, but you gotta have a real good man to help raise your kids. I'm done.
Okay. Underrated Darkness, unmute. And brother, I never get your name right. I want you to bless us with some words, brother. Man, say your handle name again, brother. Sheep
Stay Sleep TV.
Sheep State TV. I'm sorry, brother. I want you to bless us with, if you've been sitting back listening to some of the things that we've been saying, I want you to bless us with anything that's coming to your mind as to what you've heard, brother. Because you're deep, brother. I love the statements that you said earlier.
Well, I'm gonna say, as far as, you know, I used to believe that there was a homosexual agenda that was trying to attack our young black boys. I don't really believe that, because one of my cousins that I grew up with, he grew up real masculine with all of us, and eventually he turned gay. So what I think it is that a lot of these young black boys are growing up and they're effeminized due to the lack of men around them. That's number one. A lot of them go and they seek love and fall in love with men because they haven't been in love with their fathers. A lot of these young black boys who are gay grow up in broken homes. They grow up getting abused by men. They grow up getting abandoned by their father, growing up seeing men that they love being murdered. And what they do is they get soft and they become effeminized because they want protection, because they see women get protected. So they figure, if I act like a woman, I won't get killed in the streets. If I act like a woman, you know, somebody will buy me something. I won't have to starve. I wouldn't have to go out here and do things that I'm supposed to do. And that's due to the lack of men in their life. Like, for instance, my cousin, he was around us, but his dad really wasn't present in his life. So it wasn't too shocking to me when he grew up and he turned gay. So we got to look at that too. A lot of these black boys are growing up, and they're growing up in an unbalanced environment. And a lot of them are growing up. A lot of them are growing up with very masculine mothers too. You're right. A lot of our women are very masculine. So,
and would you agree that our women have become more and more masculine because they've had to take on the role of both mother and father, and they've had to do it alone? Because in some cases,
and if you look at how these gay black, I totally agree. And if you watch how these young gay black men act, they act like men and women because they took on the qualities of a hyper masculine mother who didn't have a man around her to protect her. So she had to protect. She had to learn how to fix everything. She had to paint the house. She had to, she had to do everything. And that's how a lot of these young gay black boys act. So I don't think it's just some agenda to just affect young black men. I believe that a lot of these things are just being brought to the limelight finally because it should have been. A lot of these young black boys have been raped. Nobody talks about that.
And they've been raped by other men.
Sexually abused. Yes. And by women. And by women.
Exactly.
And by women.
Because it's a stigma in our community that we have to be we gotta be hyper masculine, like Brother Sheep was saying. And we've been told you don't talk about those things or else you're a punk if you talk about that sort of thing. Not to mention you got them pushing this agenda at warp speed down our throat, because they want to be so damn accepting. They want to talk about tolerance. They want to talk about I mean, I never thought that I would see the day where they would be having legislation and arguing over same or unisex bathrooms. Ain't no way in
Okay.
hell. And then we got this atmosphere of Me Too and Times Up and all that. But yet you want to put unisex bathrooms. Oh, that to me that's a recipe for a setup right there. Because
That's
all
where
it
I.
takes
That's
is for a man and
Yeah,
a
that's
woman
my
to walk
point.
in there together, and she would want to come running out. He touched me. They setting that shit up, and I
yep.
believe it's by design.
Let me
To
say,
be
you know
honest,
what?
that
You know what, AC?
You know
You know what,
something?
AC? That just goes to show you how much untapped power that we haven't tapped into yet. That just goes to show us if we really unleash our power, we'll be the most feared man in the world again.
But see,
Exactly.
this is
Go ahead, underrated.
but
Go ahead,
DC.
underrated.
I did a live earlier, right? I want y'all to check it out. But see, I'm in this point right now. I hear everybody here saying you made great points, but this is the thing. And I want each brother to think on this, including me, and even in the chat. What status that what we in right now? What the right status that we in? Are we as black men set the right tone for our young ones and even our community? Let me explain why. Because sometimes we can go all around the bush at the same time, but instead, sometimes simpler things because sometimes could work. Because as for me, as a black man, if I take care of myself, if I advocate my stuff, if I set myself, and my status is so high that I love myself so much, that means it can spill over to love my own people. Sometimes sometimes our priorities is screw the hell up. And sometimes we have to understand our priorities. See, my priorities right now tonight. Now, I could do certain things tonight, but my priorities tonight is the constant build of the brotherhood of black men. That is a priority. That is because we in crisis. And until we understand each of us black men on this panel and even in the chat, and it can go for sisters too, but we're going to stick to the men tonight, till we understand that our status is real, instead of all this fakery, all these cars, all this money, all those things, just grab a child and mentor them. See, listen, I'm a godfather. Okay? I'm
a godfather too.
Right, so I help raise 3 different types of families. Okay? And the majority of them did not have mothers. A lot of the fathers had been locked up, and good thing about the fathers that came home and they doing an excellent job. So we have to talk about that too. But why the little boy do not have, the mother don't love them too, because it seems like that is a taboo in our community. Not picking on a sister, but I'm just saying. So until we understand our status, until we understand our priorities, the cycle is going to continue. But I'm happy tonight that hopefully that this cycle could break, and I digress. Thank you.
I wanted to interject one thing, because the reason that I even brought that up, this is odd discourse, is because my whole point was that, like, a lot of the definitions that we use, that we hold to as a people, have almost been lost to some degree. And so when you have that breakdown, like, I love what the brother was saying psychologically, what goes down with a lot of these men. For me, that was just an example of a bigger picture. When you have this nihilistic ideology, it's almost like there is no definition for nothing. So you don't have a foundation. And so anything could almost be anything. And I mean, I use that. I really was trying not to make that a whole focal point, but I'm just saying anything from what we were talking about to even our regards to like us having violent situations that go on even within our community, or just the whole breakdown of our families and stuff like that, you know. That's what I wanted to just kind of interject that, because I felt like I didn't get that point across when I tried to, and the whole, you know, what we were talking about before, the whole homosexual thing was just a small part of a bigger thing. Like, that's what I just wanted to get that out before we went on. Yeah, okay, sorry.
Can I say this?
Brothers, I'm about to bring Mr. Research is in the chat room tonight, and I'm trying to send a link to his email so that he can come aboard and bless us with some of his knowledge. So, Mr. Research, stay in the chat room, brother, until I can. Since I guess you're not able to come into the link that I dropped for you, I'll just send a link to your email. So don't go anywhere, Mr. I want you on this panel to bless us with some knowledge.
No, my bad. I forgot.
Go ahead, brother.
You hear me? I was laughing at a comment.
Brothers.
All right, let me slide something in here real quick. Well, I said real quick. This might take a second. Now I'm gonna tell everybody here something Info Man knows, and actually Angela knows, and some Cap knows. And I'm saying this for a reason. I'm explaining something for a reason. About a year and a half ago, I was told I needed a heart transplant. Now this is something nobody knew. And when I found that out, it was a life-changing event for me. Of course, I haven't had the transplant yet. Now, I spent a lot of time in the hospital, and I don't know if you remember a while back, I made one of my shares, and at the beginning of it, I was joking about when I caught the flu, because I caught the flu twice last year, or this year. And second time, I almost died. And I made a joke about it, but nobody knew that at the time. Sister Anjali knew for a while about my condition. And anyway, when I got sick like that, I started to examine my life and my priorities. And it helped me not to prepare to die, but to prepare to live. And I was looking at what it was that I had to do and wanted to do in my life. And I said, I don't want to leave here and have my life mean nothing. I don't want to leave here and leave my people in the same condition that we've been in the whole time that I've been here. One of the things that we have to do as men and with our young people is to get them to understand, and for us to understand ourselves, that we're dealing with something that's bigger than ourselves, dealing with something that's bigger than our individual wants and needs. The fruits of what I'm doing is something that I probably will not live to see. I have even told my son that in doing this work, it's possibly something that he won't live to see. But we have to, number one, know that we're in a fight, and number two, fight the good fight for our people. And we have to fall in love with not only our people, but we have to fall in love with life itself. And in terms of like the whole homosexuality thing, homosexuality does not produce life. It's a lifestyle of death. And it's anything that doesn't produce life for our people, whether it's just physical life or whether it's a life where you can like enjoy your existence on this planet. That's what we need to work for. That's what we need to work toward. And with every fiber of my being, see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I get pissed off when I see people pimping our people and playing games up here, because I'm serious about what I'm doing. I'm dead serious about what I'm doing, because I know what it's like to be about to die. I know what it's like to not know, from minute to minute whether you're still going to be here. And so I have a mission. We all have a mission. We all have a place. We all have a position that we fill for our people. And the bigger issue has to be our people, not us as individuals. Yes, we have to do and be for, in our individual lives, take care of ourselves. But this movement is bigger than any individual. It's bigger than any one person.
Can I offer a different way of thinking?
Okay, go right ahead, brother. Bless us with your thoughts.
All right, so Here's the thing, gentlemen, and I say this respectfully. It's not that I'm right. I could be wrong, but I'm just suggesting this to you. As a dude that has done a lot of traveling on my own dime, I realize that it's easy to take over certain states, certain sections of the world, certain industries. And what the problem here for our community is that we're still thinking community and our ladies are thinking female. Let me give you an example. And I'm not saying this out of hate or to trigger anything.
That knowledge.
I just want to point out something. Our ladies, not all of them, of course, I say a small 25% of them, they're quick to band with other females for the sake that they're females. When you look at, there's a Democratic Party. Do you guys realize they've created their own black woman platform and black women lobbyists, and their thought process is not the black community, it's just black women? So here's my solution.
Wow.
So here's my solution. We as men, the BMC, the black male community, we have to get into this thought process of stop being okay at your job with just doing enough. Be a supervisor, be a manager, kind of going back to what Information Man said earlier. Who do these little boys have to go to when it's time for them to get hired? It's going to be a woman or a white man. So when we're talking about changing things and impact and restating what the problem is over and over again, the solution is we're not doing what our fathers and grandfathers did. We're not trying to advance within the companies and places that we work so we can pull other brothers in. We're focused on, okay, I want to do stuff for the community at large. The community will not rise unless the sons, your sons of the community, get pulled in the way Latin boys get pulled in, the way Asian boys get pulled in. That's my suggestion. We do a lot of talking, but right now there's a gay dude volunteering at the all black boys trauma center, and there's a white dude volunteering. There's not a black dude in sight. I know because I go volunteer, and sometimes people be like, "Oh man, we glad you're here because we haven't had a black guy here for a year," or so on and so forth. So we're talking community, but we're not even saving these sons. And respectfully, our main conversation needs to be these young dudes to pull up under us so they can say when they get 23, man, I'm glad Mr. Davis pulled me in. I'm glad Mr. Johnson pulled me in. Because right now, all he can say is, I'm glad Mrs. Johnson pulled me in.
Brother, Mr. Research, you hit on something so important because I've been saying this every time I'm in a panel discussion. I keep saying that whether you have kids or not, if you don't have kids, think about mentoring. Think about trying to identify programs out there that are trying to mentor kids. My organization, my fraternity that I'm a member of, Alpha, we've been involved in mentoring. We have a program called Project Alpha where we deal with teenage pregnancy from a male perspective as to what their responsibilities are. We try to tell them not to get young ladies pregnant, but if you do, these are what you need to do. These are the keys. We need to get more into mentoring because the only way we're going to be able to save these generations to come is that we, as the older men, have to lay the foundation down. We have to bring, as I said in the beginning of my theme of this, the James Evans whoop your ass, put tough love on you, discipline, but at the same time, teach one. Well, because we have to have a village mentality. And I think, brothers, we need to really consider just, it don't take up all your time. Maybe one child you could have an impact on. If that child could see someone as a professional or a brother who works hard or a brother who's positive, that could have an impact on that child. But instead, if we don't do that, they're going to be left to this feminization of this society. And next thing you know, they're going to be finger popping.
Well, let me magnify. Wait. Let me just magnify what he just said. Forget whether it's a child, gentlemen. Can you get one dude who is an intern at your job up under you? One or two dudes who can work up under you at your job? Forget the child part of it. Can you get somebody on your Rolodex who you brought into Tesla Car Company, who you brought into Kroger Grocery, who you brought into and you mentored, and they grateful that you pulled them in? How about that?
So we don't. You're right. You're right. It really starts. It starts with us. You know, we're the. I mean, that's why I was asking a lot of brothers on the panel before you came on, Mr. Research. What was the status of everyone's family background in terms of, did you come from a 2-parent household or did you come from a 1-parent household? Because we know that a lot of times they'll say if you come from a 1-parent household where you're only raised by your mother, then that's part of the dysfunction right there. Now, but there has been some successful brothers like myself who was raised in a 1-parent household simply because my father and my mother got divorced. He lived in the East Coast. She moved me with her. But I had people in the neighborhood. I had the old men in the neighborhood. I had the barber. I had the black folks in the neighborhood who raised me. So even though I didn't have that one father in the household, I had many fathers in the community that told me, "What you doing out here, boy, at this time of the night when the damn street lights are on?" And I grew up, they spanked us. I'm not no damn millennial. I'm a Generation Xer. I got spanked by them and then spanked by my mom when she came home when I was out of line. I grew up learning to behave and respect your elders. And that has been lost in the translation today because somehow we've gotten away from it, either because we just don't want to do it no more. We kind of punked out and said, it's not my responsibility. I was on a live stream on Lowcast's program one night with a brother that got on there and said, well, it's not my job to save the black community from what Pookie and Ray Ray did, right? And then I said, well, what are you, because he kept saying his narrative is that black men do not police their communities. And so when I asked him that question, well, what is it that you do, brother? Do you mentor? Do you get involved in any kind of way? After him saying all that stuff about what black men don't do in the black community, he says, well, it's not my responsibility to clean up what Pookie and Ray Ray did. Right?
Information.
And then I in turn said to him, well, then you're part of the problem because you're saying that black men don't police their communities and you are a black man.
Information. Man. Next time they tell you that.
Yes, sir. I'm listening, sir. Oh, you muted yourself, brother. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, brother. Lions, then you've been very patient, brother. Do you have anything you want to add until Mr. Research can unmute himself, and then we can hear the rest of what he was trying to lay on me?
Yeah, Info. I listened to what the other brothers are saying, and the only problem I can see in a situation like this is that we don't have the Malcolm X's anymore. We don't have the Martin Luther Kings anymore. All you see is what young brothers is looking up to is the Lil Waynes, is the all these other hip hop rappers that mumble rappers that don't really make sense. And it's sad that we have to see little boys raising up as see these rappers as their role models. And see, like you said, Info, there's no James Evans anymore that can do that tough love to these young boys. And then we need to go back to that. We definitely need to go back to these James Evans type father. And as the godfather myself, I think it's time for us that like I said, the children is looking up to us as role models. Mm-hmm. And then we see the Michael Jordans of the world. As you know, Michael Jordan don't care about black folks, but that's another story. But my point is that we as men need to be men. And it's like I said, I'm raised by a single parent. I'm raised by my mom only. My father has never been around myself, so I'm only raised by one parent. But I have uncles that raised for me. That's how I am where I am today. But the problem, the fact of the matter is that we have to get these young kids right now, and we have to teach them that the Lil Waynes and all of them aren't your role models. They're just entertainers. They're straight up entertainers.
Let me go ahead, Mr. Research. You were about to say something when I had made some statements, brother, in some kind of way. You got, I don't know if you muted yourself or something, but go ahead and finish what your points were.
I did. I'm gonna be real short because I want to share the mic. I would say to Lions first, though, it was a man that killed Malcolm X, and it was a man that killed Martin. The problem is, men are always trying to stop other men that they don't want to hear speaking, instead of trying to be better than those men and have a bigger platform. We don't like Al Sharpton, Lions, but we want to get up and say, I don't like Al Sharpton. And many a times we come across like Ku Klux Klan members, instead of getting the microphone ourselves at our local city council and becoming Al Sharpton 5.0. We don't want to do that, but we want to come out. And so when you talk about we can't have the little Weezys of the world, we're not passionate enough to stop a little Weezy or Madame Noir talking down about blackness. But we are passionate when we see a Reggie Jackson that we don't like, and we can all agree, maybe we don't like Larry Elder or Reggie Jackson, but why we can't go be a better version is the problem. All we're doing is getting tribal and happy with talking and being right. We got to put our thing in there. And to information, man, I also volunteer for First Dads of Atlanta.
Okay.
Which also deals with the first time father information, stuff they don't understand and what have you. And I'll just say, well, what I was going to say was, next time a dude said he don't want to say the community, and it goes for all the brothers listening in the chat room, when you don't want to say the community, you know what? I agree with you on that. I'm going to play your game. I agree with you. But then my next question is, have you pulled at least 2 brothers into your job? Your job. Have you pulled at least, if you don't want to say the community, I'm down with that. It's not your responsibility to raise somebody else's kid. Okay. But have you reached to 2 other brothers who are not in your family? Because, you know, some people get upset when they family or friends mess up when they pull them in. I mean, strangers. I mean, brothers that were struggling and looking for a job. Did you reach out and pull 2 dudes in the entire time you've been at your job into your workforce? That's not saving the community. That's saving other black men. Can we at least do that? And I share the mic on that, though.
Brother, let me just say something. You said something about tribalism, and I was listening to a brother, Keith Newsom. Y'all got to check Keith Newsom out. Make sure y'all check out his channel, subscribe to him. He gets into science. He gets into the anthropology of black people. He talked about one of the things that allowed Europeans to destroy Africans and divide us was the fact that we were too much into tribalism. Tribalism was the way they were able to destroy us, the Europeans, because of this whole tribal system, instead of just saying we are one. Not this whole, I'm separate, I'm over here, I'm a Crip, I'm a Blood, I'm in this fraternity, I'm in this organization. All this tribalism has been to our detriment. And we do it the same way when we deal with each other in the streets as it relates to our youth. All this tribalism is destroying black people. And we've got to get away from it. And that's just what I want to add. Anybody else want to add to this conversation? Go ahead, brother. I know you all have been patient.
I wanted to say something real quick. I'm glad you mentioned about tribalism, because speaking of the Bloods and Crips, I've learned some things about them over the year. Of course, I live in LA now, but the Bloods and Crips at one time used to be revolutionary organizations. Blood actually stood for the black leaders overthrowing oppression and domination, and Crips stood for community revolution and progress. These were actually organizations that actually stood up to the community and stood up for the community when crack cocaine came into there, and the government, of course, you know, the government wasn't going to see nothing like that happen, see all these black men get together for some positive change, so they had to hurry up and destroy that real quick. So that's partially one reason why we have so much tribalism in our community. I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay. Information, man. Can I speak upon the last brother before Aaron?
Go ahead, Cap.
Yeah. He's right. By asking that question, what brother have you pulled off the street to wake him up? But the part is, I used to be a drill instructor for a juvenile boot camp.
Okay.
And the only way you can try and reach young brothers is when they're in so-called captivity, while their mind is willing to listen to anything. Because I had it done before. Now, if you catch them on the street, it's more harder because they still have the influences of the outside of media, music, whatever you want to call it. But the brother, he's asking the right questions. I won't just give him the proper response from my experience. Catch them while they locked up in the juvenile boot camp. And then you can reach them then. But you got to come to it raw and truthfully. Don't be pussyfooting around. Don't sugarcoat it. Be truthful. If they accept it, they won't accept it. That's their decision. But they got to understand, if you don't want to listen to me, expect your black ass to be right back in the situation you're in right now. So luckily for my shoes, I came across some of those who I've forgotten that I had supervised when they were in that program. And I didn't realize it. It changed their life. I didn't know that. But that's what touched me a whole lot. When I catch them while they're in the cage. That's another name. Catch them while they're in the cage. And stuff, and then they'll listen to you. But just don't bullshit them. Because even a young kid can tell if you're being real or not. They know that. So I'm done.
Well, I would always
I had a homie, that I used to work with, right around 2 years ago, you know what I'm saying? I found this dude, that I'm working with right now, that I'm teaching him everything I know. Yeah, he a little younger than me, but I'm teaching him everything I know so that he can toughen up just like me. You know what I'm saying? He grew up better than me, but he found me and he confided in me. So I'm actually working with somebody right now.
That's a good look, man. And you know what? To the other brother that spoke, well, to the one that just spoke, that you found the brother that you're working with right now, outstanding. Now we need to find three more.
Cap and KD84.
Now we need to find three more. You feel me? Because he needs that. Because there's other dudes who need that knowledge too. And all I say is, it's not just the young dudes we got to put up on game. Females are controlling human resources. We can all agree on that. And females are saying, you know what? Lyons didn't interview too well. Brother Olandi didn't interview too well. Leopold was overqualified. They're using all these words to keep us out. So the least we can do, if we can't put a young dude up on game and bring him in, bring an older dude up in there and say, whoa. You mean all these brothers that apply, none of them was able to come in? Hold on. No, I got a problem with that, HR. I got a problem with that, human resources, because ain't no way that out of the 17 brothers that applied over the past 5 years, all y'all could do was hire women. That's ridiculous. You got to start speaking. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about speaking to the point of damaging your job, but put something down on record that you feel kind of weird that human resources can't do their job.
This is the let me just say something. One of the things that we find ourselves in is the fact that, and what you're saying, brother, Mr. Research, is correct. But one of the things we find ourselves in is a little bit of a pickle, because at the same time, we know that that black men are the threat. So that's why a lot of times they will hire women over us. They'll hire our own women over us, because they know that we are the threat, and that we live in a society where we've been taught that the man is supposed to be the provider, that the man is supposed to, stabilize the household and what have you. And once you attack the man, that's how you destroy the black family, by making us unemployable, put us in jail, get us on drugs and what have you. And I know there's personal responsibility that we all have to account for, but it's a really interesting situation, because at the same time, we need to be employed, whether we our own business or we're employed somewhere, because we live in a society in which women are being taught that we're supposed to be the provider. And so therefore, how do you expect black men to be able to raise families and be providers and be part of that structure of that family if they don't have jobs. Then when you look at Detroit, where you're from, KD84, black folks, back when you had the motor car industry going on up there, you had black men, black folks were making money. They were able to buy a home and put their kids through school when they were making good money in those industrial jobs. And the minute they took those industrial jobs out of Detroit and many of those cannery cities like Cleveland, all those cities up there in the Northeast, then the black communities in places like Cleveland, Detroit, where you're from, brother, they begin to collapse because what happened? You take the jobs away. What happens? You replace it with crime and drugs. Crime increases. Now all of a sudden black men become unemployable because of having a drug or a criminal problem, and they become criminalized while white folks get hooked on drugs, and it's called a medical problem, opioids, or whatever the hell I'm trying to say. I know I said a whole bunch there, but shit, I had to say it.
Well, this is the underrated darkness. I beg to differ. I think there's a lot of us is doing the job. I think what it is not enough. Like, I want to see, but I hear your brothers talking about community. I'm talking about y'all talking about corporations. Y'all talking about jobs. But I think the one thing that we miss that the kids is, I think we got to go back to old school. Well, let me explain why. Because I do security, so I'm not going to be, most of the time I work around grown men. So for me, what I live at, much as I can, I walk around the block. I talk to the kids, especially young boys. Do you have identification on you? Because of where I'm at, these cops you grab them up and get them Trump charged. Or what I do, and I see any young boys that's in the corner, or they into a lot of stuff. You know, if they want to buy a beer, no, you're not gonna buy a beer. Even like I see some older cats give them, no, you don't give them no money. You send their ass to school. So for me, again, I had to reemphasize it, because let's not get this notion that it's not a lot of brothers is doing the work. Yeah. And at the same time, let's not keep on saying that this was one thing that we can do. There's a whole lot. There's many ways that we can mentor a child, and there's nothing wrong mentor a child from the street so they could do what's good. And I think the part of that too that we got away from that, because let's be honest. These organizations is not doing a job, especially us. They're not doing a job to help our young men. So at the same time, we have to go. We have to go to these streets, and then we have to step up and save our boys. So that's what I'm at right now. So I hear you. I'm gonna say one more thing, and I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna say one more thing, and I'm gonna let the brothers have it. There is a lot of us doing it, but it's not enough.
All right.
I want to
go right ahead, brother.
Everybody has to, and I apologize in advance for getting a little tired, but everybody has
brother. We'll be listening to you, brother.
Okay, everybody has their place, and everybody has a part to play. And the thing is that we, as a people, as a collective, we have to play to our strengths. We each know what our individual strengths are, and we know what our weaknesses are. Everybody's not cut out to like deal with the young brothers on the street. One of my best friends worked a correctional facility, and he knows how to work with those young brothers. Now, say you had me, say I had a lot of money, and then you had another brother who knew how to work with the brothers in the street, and they wanted to take them places, do things to encourage that brother to teach them. It might be my position to provide money to that brother so that he would be the one to be able to help the other brother. You have like I said, everybody has their different talents, their different strengths, and their different. And working as a collective, working as a unit, each person doing whatever they're strong in is what we need to build a community.
But I would say this, man. When we say this to the last two brothers that spoke, think about the young dope dealer on the street and what you just said. Mm-hmm. Respectfully, I'm not saying you're wrong, because you're probably right. But how is the young dope dealer going to receive what you said about the ID and, you know, everybody got their strengths? Because he wants to stop selling dope. He wants to be able to come to you at the security guard and say, hey, man, are you the ops manager? Can you put me on that new account? Because in security, you know they're going to hire somebody at that new account who don't even deserve the job. Why get them all that good money and they ain't even put in no work yet? Or they go to the other brother and they say, you know, Leopold, man, can you pull me in to what you doing? You know, because I don't want to be out here selling this dope. I only did it so I can feel like a man. You know what I'm saying? And I can bring in some type of money because I'm tired of hearing my mama. And the only males that I hang around is my boys. And all they talk about is shooting dice and fucking all day. So see, when we say what we're saying, think about the young boy and how he going to receive it. He wants the brothers to be in positions so he can have an option to stop doing what he's doing and get pulled in. And because you know, and I'm gonna be quiet after I say this. The one dude I had applied for years ago, man. Dude put me. He said this magical thing to me. He said, "Look, I'm not interviewing for this position. I'm interviewing for somebody I can train to be a manager so I can put you at other sites and I can be the regional manager. I'm looking for somebody who I can lead this management position and create so many managers and put you at these other locations and I can be the regional manager." And I've taken that with me everywhere I went.
Well, can I say something to that?
Here's the thing: we still on the same. We're actually on the same sheet. What I'm saying is this, and it actually dovetails with what you're saying. See, I've taken some time, like as most of us have, to study white people and the way that they do things, and they have social capital. And that social capital just means, you know, you can have somebody that's at the very bottom rung and have someone at the very top rung. Well, you know, I know this person's brothers, cousins, sisters, aunts, whatever, and they keep working and just getting each other different ways into the system, different ways into jobs, different ways into positions and careers, just using their social capital, just using the different people at different places in society and at different levels. So by that same token, if you have the brother that's on the street selling drugs and he wants to get out of it, then that's when we have to like kick in, and the person who is closest to him, like they say about 6 degrees of separation or 7, and you find the person that's close to him who can actually deal with him. Finding out who he knows, and then finding out who his friend of a friend is, and so on. And that's the way that we have to. That's the way we have to do it, because that's the way other groups do it. They use their networks within their own community, because everybody can't be front line. Everybody can't be top line. It's all this top line, front line, and everything in between that gets people into all these different positions and all these different stations in life.
Let me say something real quick, Oyapo and everybody listening. I work for the state, so I had a chance to see this kind of stuff directly. Where I work at, you have Filipinos, you have other ethnic groups. And what I see them do in the nursing department, I see them go down to the human resource department, and if they know a job is coming up, they will get that application. They will get it to their family member. I mean, they practice nepotism, okay? They will get it to their family member. They'll make sure that application gets to where it needs to go. And a lot of times it'll go to someone that looks just like them that's in charge. And then their family member gets the job. But a lot of times black folks will get on jobs and will hate on one another. We need to, I mean, like I did talk about tribalism not being something that affect us, but there's times when we do need to utilize tribalism when it comes to being on these jobs, and we know that an opportunity is open up, and we can get that application to a family member or someone that we know, and if we know that there's a way to put that application, we can help them get employment or something. But I see other ethnic groups doing this all the time. And I'm like, how did this guy get the job? And shit, he ain't even that qualified because somebody of another ethnic group is in a position like a supervisor position. And then that individual of their culture, and a lot of times, let you get on a little bit of secret, a lot of times they're related to each other. They're second and third fucking cousins. Okay? All the time. So they getting the damn job.
Right. That's exactly it.
I think a lot of times, and this is something I noticed that, you know, we're not touching on, is black men have a problem with competing with each other. All of us want to be the men instead of us playing a role to help one another. It's too much competition and not enough cooperation. We don't cooperate with each other as black men. This is why a lot of the younger guys, you know, like the millennials, I'm a millennial, you know, a lot of us, you know, we don't get along with a lot of the older generations because a lot of the older guys look down on us. Instead of trying to encourage us, instead of trying to help us build, they just keep bashing us. They got a lot of shit to say about us, but they not doing shit to help us. They're not doing shit to help the dope dealer get off the block. They're not doing none of that. They just doing a lot of talking. And when it comes to the whole job thing, a lot of black men don't help each other get jobs because the first thing they think is you gonna buy a better car than them. You gonna look better than them. You gonna take the women away. So it's more of a competition thing that I think black men need to get off. We need to get off. We need to get out of our egos and stop thinking that one black man is looking to be better than the next black man, because that's the reason why when a dude from the hood get a good job, he say, I'm not helping nobody.
Well, Sheik, let me say this to you, man. As a brother who used to sell dope, who got up out of that, got 5 certifications, and who tries to help millennial brothers. My problem with millennial brothers that I see from the East Coast to the West Coast, because I got two locations I deal with, they don't understand the loyalty of the person who pulled them in. So what I get from a lot of millennials is they get comfortable too quick. Now, that's not me looking down on you. That's saying, okay, it's a little dangerous me pulling you in and you soiling my name after I done told these W's that you're going to work out fine. You feel me? So a lot of times what I'm running into with millennials, and this is just my experience, doesn't mean all millennials do this. Doesn't even mean half of them do this. But when I pull cats in, cats get comfortable and start messing up. And then when it comes to, let's say I done pulled you in and the company trying to screw me over, hypothetically, you don't even have the loyalty to me to come and say, hey, man, these folks came to me and said, blah, blah, blah. It's like a lot of millennials are not on code. Now, I will agree with you. There's too many older dudes talking down to millennials instead of helping. But I want you to understand from some of our standpoints, it's dangerous to help millennials because a lot of millennials don't understand loyalty. If I bring you in, homie, it's me and you. It ain't I work for the job now. You feel me? Because I done risked what I had to do to get you up in there. That's my
let me make a point here. Part of the reason why you have this problem, let's just be honest, brothers, is because, and you said it, because as black men, we don't respect each other. Just like for example, let's say you got when I was in college, I had black professors, and I noticed that people would come to the class late, they would have excuses for the black professor. Oh, I didn't get a chance. I didn't get enough sleep last night. Or can you give me a break on the test? Or can you this or that? We always expecting that when we deal with each other, that we're supposed to give each other a break. And then when it comes to white folks, if the white man tells you better be at that job on time, if the white man said you better be at my class at 8 p.m., we be on time. But when we come to a black man hiring you or a black teacher, we take ourselves for granted because we figure because you're black that you're going to go easy on me. And that's one of the reasons why the older generations, such as Generation Xers and baby boomers, sometimes in general have issues with millennials, because when we grew up, we grew up with the hard edge. We grew up on the hard. There was no participation trophies. There was nobody coddling us. We were told you get in this world and you work hard and you tear some shit up. You go after it no matter what's in your way. So a lot of times black males, because we don't respect each other, think about it. We've never learned to respect the authority of a black man because we don't see a lot of black men in a power position, and we see white men in a power position, whether it be Jesus, Sky Daddy Jesus, the image of Jesus being a white man when we go to school. Damn, white men are on our money. Damn it, white men control economics in this country. So therefore, we show respect to them, even though we know that they are oppressing us. And then when it comes to black men, we have no respect for our own people because we don't see black men as being someone to respect, because we have been culturally conditioned to hate self and kind. See black as inferior, white as superior, and we manifest that in the way we treat each other, which is why we have some of these problems, and we've got to get past this.
Conditions. Well, Info Man, you touched on something that's very critical. Again, it is the comfort that is making us males weak, man. We have to learn how to be uncomfortable. That is the problem. They've been coddled too much with all this stuff that's been handed to them, even in a two-parent household. This is coming from a person that had to grow up on foster care in the streets. I grew up next to nothing. I had to learn to be uncomfortable real quick. So again, we have to learn how to be uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah, exactly what KD just said. And you hit the nail right on the head. I've been living in Los Angeles for 5 years now. And I've experienced some uncomfort myself. I've lived in the notorious Skid Row. There's some shelters there. And I tell you what, y'all, that is like the biggest, to me, that's the best lesson in reality that you can learn. And when I'm talking, and I've actually even said, I like to take people on a field trip to Skid Row. Now, when I say a field trip, I'm not talking about some drive-by in the car type of. No, I'm talking about we gonna park the car and we gonna get our asses out and we gonna walk. We gonna walk on the same streets that I done seen people sleeping on, pissing on, even pulling their pants down and taking a shit on. Oh yeah, I done seen people take full-blown shits, male and female, in the street. Because see, that is the mentality that they have been reduced to because of this white supremacist system that we live in. And it may sound funny, but it's really not funny, because I think to myself, damn, is this what happens when you don't live the so-called American dream, or what have you? I mean, and it's sad that you see people reduced to the mindset of a four-legged animal. Mm-hmm. You know, I look at that and I have compassion. To me, I look at it as really motivation. And it's also something that'll humble you, because just in case you decide, like what the brothers were saying, that you get yours, because we live in this I got mine mentality, you get yours. Just in case you decide to get up there, that will bring you back down to reality real quick. Just in case you decide to get the big head and think you just the shit, the belle of all, that'll bring you back real quick.
You know what? I had this brother who I tried to pull in, just this other brother. The white boys let him go, right? And I run my own site. Okay, my second job is in tech. My day job is in medical. And I tried to pull the brother in on the sly and pay him straight cash, right? Young brother, 30 years old. His mother had some issues or whatever the case may be. So I pull him in and I'm paying him every week. Okay, so I was paying him like $600 every week. Okay, and that's the amount that he was getting a gross from the white folks, and I was paying him that, right? And nobody knew because it was something that I hooked him up with, having some pity for him until he can get himself straight. One day I tried to call this dude, his phone don't work. I just wanted to make sure he was at the spot, right? So I drive all the way down there. I walk through the whole facility. I don't see my man. He outside. After I come back out, okay, dude, what happened to your phone? Oh man, well, I had some issues with the phone, and they're gonna do the insurance and blah blah blah. I said, bruh, come on now, dude. I'm paying you. You could pick up a $40 phone from Metro. I mean, what's up? But okay, get your phone, bruh. I paid my man 2 more times. By this time, he got $1,800 from me. My man still ain't got a phone. This is my millennial brother. I go to the site. He upstairs on the company phone talking to a chick. I said, my man, I mean, come on, bruh. Don't put us in this type of conversation. And then what did I have to do? I had to protect myself, right? So I said, hey man, we're not going to be able to use you until they decide about this meeting. And they was really having a meeting. And I just didn't bring him back aboard. So he kept saying, oh man, so what happened? And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, why do I have to teach you this level of the game? Where I done put $1,800 in your hand where you had no job and you didn't have the courtesy to buy a $40 Metro phone. But somebody else I told this story to, you know what they told me? You should have bought him a phone. That's the problem. People don't understand what they need to do.
It's called entitlement, isn't it? Isn't it called? Yeah. Isn't there a word called entitlement when people think that they just supposed to get whatever they supposed to think they supposed to get?
Yeah, and I would have to agree, with the brother. A lot of us, millennials, we do have a sense of entitlement. We believe that the world owes us something. I totally agree with that. I mean, I wasn't raised like that, so I don't think like that. But I do understand that, and I do understand that, you do have to protect your name. But speaking from my experience, I've had a lot of dudes just play me to the side because, for whatever reason they have felt. But I think just a lot of times, a lot of older dudes be competing with the younger dudes too. And a lot of times it be little trivial shit that that keeps us separated and keeps us not from cooperating with each other. But I do agree with that. I agree with a lot of the stuff, that the older brothers say about the younger brothers, because I even deal with it, talking to my peers. So I understand.
Well, so what are solutions? Can we? What are some of the solutions to some of these problems?
I'm gonna say that some of the solutions for us should be is, for one, I believe a lot of millennials should listen, because we have a problem with listening and trying to understand where the older brothers be coming from, because a lot of times us millennials don't like to learn from people who done been through shit. A lot of us think we're living this new life and that nobody has went through what we've went through, and that's not true. And that was something my dad always taught me, to learn from the shit that you see me go through, so you don't go through it. So that's something that I.
Go ahead, brother.
No,
Cap, you wanted to say something? Or
let me chime in.
Okay, go ahead, brother. What you were saying?
I was,
so I can go to bed.
yeah, I was hearing like some of the brothers, they were raised by two parents, but I wasn't raised by that. My solution to these kids, to me, get their ass inside the boxing ring. Now, if you badass, you can talk all that crap on the street, prove that shit inside this ring. And once you get beat down, listen to the ones that beat you down to teach you something. As I face that stuff. Maybe other brothers have faced something different, but to catch your attention, don't talk that crap if you can't handle that crap. You know what I'm saying? So, respect to all the brothers and the sisters that was raised by two parents, but I was raised by my grandmother. I had to search for manhood on my own path. You know, I'm not, trust me, brothers, I'm not talking down to, no, I praise brothers that was raised by two parents. I really do. But I hear a different spirit. But hear my spirit, bro. My mom, my brothers. I was raised by a grandmother. I still stay in contact with a female cousin of mine. And she goes through the same relationship issues that I go through. It's well for me being a damn combat veteran. But to these young men out here, that they want to, like, instead of trying to go out there and protect the sisters, they want to grab their fucking phones and fucking what? World Star. That's not manhood to me. You put that phone in your pocket, you go out there and you fucking got there and protect the sisters out there. It's, you know, whether it's a cop, whether it's a random white person, you go out there and fight for it. So yeah, today I got issues with these young males. I really do. Stop recording shit and start putting your fucking hands up and go and just. I'm done, bro. I'm about to go, you know, into another level. But go ahead, family.
Okay, Cap. Thank you for your words, brother. I can hear your passion. We know you're very passionate. You tell it like it is. You put it to where the goats can get it, as they say. So never stop being that way, brother. Let me go over to
Leopold was talking.
Go ahead, brother.
Peace, y'all there?
Go ahead, take the floor, brother.
Go ahead, y'all.
Okay, because I'm about to go to bed. I just wanted to say, especially to the older members of the panel, it's so important. And Cap, me and you have already spoken about this, but just figuring out where your strength is, and then making a decision of what hill or hills you're willing to die on, and then attacking that thing, and then that way, like I said, if each person in our community finds what their strength is, makes the determination on what hill they're willing to die on, because the hill that I'm willing to die on might not be necessarily the same hill that Infoman's willing to die on. And so you take what you know and you put all your energy, all your love, all your load into that for our people and move us forward that way. And if enough of us do that in our individual corners, in our individual places, then that will move us forward totally as a people. Peace to everybody on the panel. Peace to everybody in the chat. Info man, this was great, and I look forward to
brother for being on board with us. I really appreciate you, Oyapo.
Thank you.
Everybody, make sure you subscribe to Oyapo's YouTube channel.
Well, info man, I'd like to speak for a second. I'm actually working on a solution right now, even though I'm the youngest dude on the panel. I'm working on a solution right now in the process of becoming my own boss. And once I get my foot in the door, you know, I can replicate myself amongst this friend that I have and replicate myself to the best I can, so that I can help bring other homies onto the game of, you know, running their own labor. Because that's another thing. The best way we can combat this unemployment going on, and it is a bad problem, the best way I feel that we can compete with that is, you know, on our own labor. And if we get enough, if I get enough homies under me to do that, maybe we could turn this little, you know, economic situation around. So that's where I'm
Yes.
gonna put all my focus and energy to. You know what I'm saying?
And there's nothing wrong with that. My solution, because my computer's about to die, is that look, man, always build people up underneath you. And I'm not talking family and friends, because sometimes strangers love you more than family and friends. Always build these dudes up underneath you. That's the main thing. About the millennial part of the game, I've been homeless 3 times. I fought back every time. Now I make money. I've been on my own since 19 years old, then traveled on my own, no military, was in the music game. And the whole thing, man, is that you got to be able to get anywhere on God's green earth and triple your worth. And if anybody want to reach me, you can always catch me through Patreon, man. I'll at y'all.
Hey, Mr. Research.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for blessing us with your presence tonight. I was hoping to be able to get you on, brother, and I'm glad that it worked out. I was trying to get my man Superfly 75 on tonight, but I think something must have happened that he wasn't able to get on. But I want to bless everybody that's been on tonight. I want to thank you. I want to thank Mr. Research for coming on. Brother, I love you. Support what you do on your channel. Everybody, if you got a chance, check out Mr. Research's channel. Subscribe, check him out. The brother makes very good points. He's very practical in his statements. He does great research. As you can hear, the words that were flowing out of his mouth tonight, he was on point. And I want to thank you for being with us, brother. I want to thank you.
Thank you very much, man. And look, I love how you uplifting this situation you got, man. Keep it up. They need more of this man talk on this side of YouTube to get away from all that complaining that goes on YouTube, man. You're doing a great job. I want to see you hit 100,000, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. With the rest of the brothers that are on the panel tonight, before we do come to a conclusion, we got my man Lions Den still on here. I'm going to get to each one of you brothers to add more content before we come to a crescendo tonight. Lions Den, you've been very patient. You have anything you want to add, brother?
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here myself because I know it's late here in the East Coast. But I would like to say, and I would like to thank all the brothers on this panel, because we all need to have that, you know, unity and some positivity into this during this, you know, crisis that we're going through here in the United States of America. We call it the United States of America. But what I want to say is, brothers, is this: that we need to unify each other. We never unify each other, and that's one big problem. Not just unify our sisters, but unify ourselves. That's the main goal. We have to realize that when all we do is hating each other and this and that, instead of hating each other, let's work with each other as a people, as men. That's the problem. Black men don't unify each other like we should be, and that's the thing. That what is wrong with us unifying and support each other? If we do that, I guarantee you, I don't care what race, I don't care what other race thinks about us. If we're unified, they're never going to come between us. Never. So on my final thoughts tonight, and thank you, Info, for inviting me. My final thoughts for you brothers tonight is, don't hate on each other, love each other, unify each other as brothers, and let's work together as one. And that's all I have to say. And good night, brothers.
Good night, brother. Get some sleep. I know you got an early day tomorrow. Woo! Odd Discourse. I'm going to go down the line. Odd Discourse, brother. Unmute yourself and give your last words, brother. Odd Discourse. Okay. I think Odd Discourse either can't hear me because he's got himself. Odd Discourse, if you're hearing in the chat room, brother, unmute yourself and give us your last words, brother, for the night. Okay. KD84, unmute yourself, brother, and give us your last words for the night, brother. Bless us.
All right. I just want to say shout out to everybody on the chat, from JT, AC, Triple S, Mr. Research, and even you, Mr. Info Man, and Yappa, and everybody else that I forgot to mention on the chat. My thing is this, you know, it's time for us to stand up and fight. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what background you came from. The situation we're in right now, we got the power to change it. It's basically this, man. Either we man up or we lose what we have. We man up or we take the L. And I don't want to take no L's. I want to keep fighting because I want to fight to win. You know what I'm saying? I want to help rack some W's up. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm on this panel tonight. Let's keep fighting because we can beat this beast. And that's my last words for the night, Mr.
Okay. It looks like Oyalpo wants to come back on. So Oyalpo, if you want to come back on, brother, come on back on. Just come on back on. I'll send you another link if you need another link in there. Brother Cap, unmute yourself, Brother Cap. Okay, Brother Shepherd, unmute yourself and give us your last words. Bless us with some more of your knowledge, brother. Bless us with the way that you speak and the tone that you speak that gives us truth. Go right ahead, brother. Brother Sheikh.
I'm here, bro.
Okay. I want you to bless us the way I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. When you started talking tonight, you put us in the place that we needed to be in, and you put us in the place that I really wanted us to go in. So I want to thank you for that. You put it right in perspective, and I want you to do the same in your concluding statements, brother. It's been great.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Well, I'm gonna just say, you know, something I always say on my platform. What we have to do as men is we gotta heal. We gotta heal before we build. And what I mean by that is we have to get rid of the bullshit idiosyncrasies that we suffer from with the way that we relate with one another. Because that's why we're not able to have a strong brotherhood with each other. It's because of the simple jealousy, you know, the oh, he think he better than me type of stuff. You know, all of those little things affect the way we relate with one another. And like you said, this is why we don't respect each other. And with men, the basis of dealing with men is respect. If there's no respect, there's no relationship. Especially with men, it's only going to be conflict. And this is why we suffer from so much conflict, because we quick to disrespect each other. We quick to look down on each other. So like I always say, man, we got to heal before we build. Because if we get rid of those simple things and the way we relate with each other, we'll be able to do a lot more with each other. It'll be a lot more cooperation and less competition between black men. And I want to thank you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to all the brothers on the panel. I appreciate the opportunity, brother.
Brother, I'm going to tell you right now, I've got to have you come back. We got to continue these dialogues, but I was very impressed with the things that you said tonight. So we got to have you back on for more live streams. I need to get a one-to-one with you as well, brother, interview you based on these knowledge. Brother, you're very knowledgeable. And so we need to I feel that we got to keep these voices being heard, because we are the new black men. Back on for more live streams. I need to get a one-to-one with you as well. Got some funny feedback going on here. Maybe somebody had their audio turned up. Oh, okay. Oyalpo's back on. Basically, what I'm just saying is, we are the new black media. This is it. That BT, TV1, The Root is garbage. And that's what I wanted to bring up, brother, that I think got a little lost in our discussion tonight. I was going to talk about how you got the articles in The Root where they talking about black men are the enemy of black women. You got all that type of nonsense going on to try to destroy our manhood, to destroy what we mean to the black community. That was something else I wanted to bring up tonight, but we pretty much did a great job, I felt, tonight of really getting into the real core, hardcore issues. Oyalpo, you came back on, brother. You want to bless us with anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick, and this is actually a little bit off subject.
Okay, go right ahead, brother.
I just want to mention something. You know, you had two brothers that got the cops called on in Starbucks for sitting. You had a brother get the cops called on him for moving into his apartment.
Mm-hmm.
You had a sister that got the cops called on her while she was sleeping in the dorm room while she was studying. And then you had the family that was barbecuing and had the cops called on for barbecue.
Yes.
And it struck me that the entire time that this was happening, and they were calling the cops on all these black folks for doing nothing, they had somebody that was one of theirs planning to assassinate a bunch of theirs. And they carried it out, killed 10 people and fooled around. And like I said, the whole time that they're like keeping a close eye on us, calling the cops on us for doing absolutely nothing. They got theirs planning mayhem and chaos. So when I think about that, I just think in terms of how after what happened in that park, I think it was the next day that they had that, all the brothers and sisters met down there and had that celebration. And that's how we got to start reacting to things, is to come together, not so much even focus on what white people are doing, but focus on what we're doing and come together in strength and unity. That's all I had to say.
Yapo, thank you, brother. I know that you were tired. We talked earlier today. I'm glad that you came aboard. Because I kind of had a figure that there were some people that would be able to come on tonight and some people that may not be able to make it for whatever the reasons are. But I thought that the people who have really been supporting me and supporting us, let me talk about us, not me, but us as a family, the ones that needed to be here tonight were the ones that I really wanted here tonight, because you've been the ones that have been very consistent, and you've been the ones that have been on point with everything that you've had to say and your passion for our people. So the folks that were on this panel tonight were the folks that were meant to be and should have been on this panel. So I want to thank you, Yapo. And brother, we will be talking off this social media stuff very soon, brother. We'll be talking. We'll be having a discussion. And I want to thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Brother Odd Discourse, if you can unmute yourself, because I'm going to come to the real Aaron Collins and Underrated Darkness afterwards. So don't go anywhere, brothers. But Odd Discourse, unmute yourself and give your last words, brother. I think this brother must have fallen asleep or something. The real Aaron Collins, brother, bless us with something.
Yeah, man. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to all the incredible brothers that was on the panel tonight. I love seeing when we can get together, black men can get together and talk about something positive, talk about something with some substance and not about a bunch of BS and irrelevant stuff. And I just wanted to say something, if this would even qualify for it, but I forgot that when I helped raise my niece and nephew, they didn't have a father, and so I guess that's part of my contribution to the community. Even though it's not another young one in our community, it's my niece and nephew. They're grown now, but I helped raise them, and I thought about something that my nephew said that really resonated with me. He actually called me up one day and wished me a happy Father's Day, even though I'm his uncle. And he did that because I was more of a father to him when his own father didn't raise him. And that actually touched my heart, because I'm like, man, and a lot of times I feel myself that I don't think I did enough. I don't think I did everything I probably should have, but it seems like to him I did enough. Now he's grown. He's still dealing with some issues of his own, but the fact that he feels that way about me, that means a lot. And so I say, if any of you brothers in the panel have nieces and nephews You could start right there in your own family.
Yeah.
And that's not to say to ignore. And that's not to say to ignore the other young brothers and sisters in the community. But start with your family. That's all.
You know what I realized tonight, brother? Well, I realized that Brother Clarence, I should have sent him an invite tonight. Should have gotten this brother on tonight, but I'm going to talk to him because at the end of the day, I'm very grateful for you brothers being on tonight because they always want to say that we can't work together. And you brothers have been more than fantastic. When I talk to you brothers and you say, hey, I'll be there. Yeah, we'll be on, brother. You guys have been consistent. Your word has been bond. And I appreciate that. Underrated Darkness, unmute yourself, brother.
For me, I enjoy the panel, or even I enjoy the chat too. But for me, is tonight is that we got to play ball. You got to play to win. Like I always say, I don't care what the haters do. I don't care what the system do. If I had to go through the system and play ball for myself first, because I got to advocate for myself first, and for our people, I ain't going to do whatever it takes. Like the great Malcolm X say, by any means necessary. So that's what I'm at. I'm not all about no big words. I'm not all about that. I'm going to play ball, and I'm going for that grand salami every time because that's how much I love myself and I love our people, and especially that's how we gotta have our brotherhood. We gotta form a winning team. It doesn't make a difference what position you play. It doesn't make a difference what status you play. You're on a winning team. We play to win. It doesn't make a difference what status you're in. Play to win. And have a good night. Thanks for the panel. Thank you.
Hey, Underrated Darkness, thank you for being with us, brother. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. I'm still looking for Odd Discourse to give his last words, but he's still seems like something, bro. Maybe I muted him or something. I don't know. Maybe did I mute him? No, I didn't. Anyway, Cap. Yeah, go ahead, Cap. Go ahead, Cap.
My I didn't know I was muted, but yeah, I want to give a shout out to the panel, to the chat room, to you, and the brothers today on the panel, man. Boy, y'all had dropped some major freaking jewels for us, the fellow brothers in the chat room, and I'm gonna try and hold an after party after this here. You know, and just talk, you know, you can cuss while you fuss. I don't give a damn. That's the name of the title. Cuss while you fuss. I don't give a damn. You're open to it. I'll address, you know, anybody's issue. Okay. And stuff. So I want to give love to everybody out there. Thank y'all.
So you heard it from the man himself, Cap. He's having an after party discussion where you can speak how you want, be how you want to be, and speak truth to power on his channel. So soon as I get ready to end this officially, those of you that are still up, going over to Cap and see what he's got to offer you. You know, Cap's going to always put it where the ghost can get it and tell truth to power. Odd Discourse still haven't been able to get his last words, but with the rest of you brothers that are left, I want to thank you for being with me. I want to thank everybody out there for taking the time out of your schedule. It's a Saturday night. You could be doing anything else on a Saturday night. I want to also wish the True Royal family, because she's in Los Angeles. I was on a stream with her on Keith Newsom's channel. Make sure y'all check that brother out and subscribe. And she said she made it to Los Angeles safe. And I wished her a very good graduation celebration for her. I believe it's her son that's graduating, or nephew or something. I hope I'm correct about that. But she's in LA right now. She's down there. She's safe. So I want to thank her. If she's listening to this tonight, wherever she is or will listen, thank her for her support. Thank her for being who she is and blessing us with knowledge that she does all the time. I want to thank everybody in the chat room. Let me acknowledge everybody in the chat room real quick here, just out of respect. Let me scroll up and down out of respect.
Hey, information man, just so you know, I made it home.
Oh God, you just got home, man?
No, a few minutes ago.
You mean this whole time we've been doing this stream, you was still on your way home? Wow.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You must live super far away, man.
You know how we would. You know, I took the bus and walked. You know,
I mean, we've been on this stream for at least what, 3 hours or something. I mean, golly, brother.
yeah. I went from downtown LA back to Hollywood.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, brother. But my God, that's man, travel. Let me thank everybody in the chat room. Let's see. Let me stroll up, give everybody some love. Kashmir G, thank you for being with us. Be Fresh, thank you. African Defender, thank you for being with us tonight. Sonia C's, thank you. Cap, you're out there. Thank you again, Cap. Nicole Ali, I love you, sister. Check out, if you haven't checked out, folks, me and Nicole, we did a great video together about travel and creating travel groups, and it was a wonderful interaction and experience doing that with her. And I'm looking forward to more stuff that we can do like that. So everybody check out that video. It's on the channel. Let me see who else we got. Hand of the Fame. Thank you for being with us. Brown J Jr. Brown Jr. Thank you for being with us. And let me show down. Be fabulous. Be fabulous. I love that little way she says that.
Fabulous. Be fabulous.
Thank you for being with us. I just love to sing that. You did a great job of that. So thank you for being with us. August Dreams. Thank you, sister. She said, excellent live stream tonight. Salute to all brothers. Thank you. KD84, you blessed us tonight with your presence, brother. And thank you for the 100% 3 times. We got Sandra. Sandra gave us a clap. Thank you. I'm strolling down a little bit more. Underrated Darkness once again was with us tonight. Oh, Yapo, again, I'm going to give you praises. Real Aaron Collins, love you all, he says. Brother, I never can say this name right. Let me give him, I'm going to give him love this way. Let's see. Thank you. All right, I'm bad with pronouncing names, brother. And then we got Marlo's Corner and just popped in here. Marlo's Corner, brother, you guys are going to have to listen to the repeat, brother, because we was putting it in tonight. So when you get a chance, listen, and make sure you share the video on your social media, share it, because what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start sharing on my social media everybody's stuff. So for example, if I'm looking at my man, Real Aaron Collins, I've looked at some of his stuff that wasn't live. He does some good, great videos. I'm going to start popping his stuff in my, my social media. I'm going to do the same thing with Underrated Darkness. I've been doing the same thing with Marlo's Corner. If Oyapo does a video, I'm going to pop his stuff. I'm just going to start, when I start watching you guys stuff and I'm just sitting at home with my computer or my devices, I mean, hell, it don't take nothing out of me and my time and my energy just to take my thumb and put your stuff in this social media and that social media to bring traffic and awareness to what y'all doing. That's what I'm gonna start doing. We gotta support each other. That stuff that you saw between Cynthia G and the situation with Tariq, we don't need that. We need to get away from that. We need constructive conversation. We need to be figuring out solutions. I'm gonna tell you how YouTube is working, folks. While we as Black people are arguing and bickering with each other on YouTube, white boys are making money off of YouTube. They got millions of subscribers.
Goddamn right.
They're making money. They're monetized. That's right, Cap. They're monetizing, and as a result of them coming together and working with each other, they're making money. And they're laughing at us because we're bickering while they're doing collaborations with each other. They're putting advertisements on their own channels for each other. They're doing big shit, and their channels are growing, and they're putting up fancy graphics and got introductions and stuff like a goddamn movie. and we sitting up here with our raggedy black behinds arguing about whether somebody's got cancer or not, which is you shouldn't be doing stuff like that, arguing about all this and all of that. And this is what don't make sense about it. You can't call yourself a black conscious person and push black power and pro-black ideology if you sitting up here arguing and bickering with each other. Okay? Sometimes if you ain't got nothing positive to say, just don't say it at all. Keep it moving. Keep doing what you're doing. If you don't agree with each other, move on. Look. I had a conversation with Underrated Darkness because he was upset today because Real Brother came on his platform, and because I'm a moderator on there, and he doesn't like me because I've had to block him out of my, my platform, and I've had to block him out of other chat rooms because he sort of has a trolling flavor to him, even though he does have his own channel and radio program. He came in the chat room and wanted to start talking about me because, he's mad at me because I've had to block him a few times, right? And Underrated Darkness said, look, I don't play that. I don't play all of that stuff on my channel. And I had to talk to him and apologize to him and tell him, look, I didn't know the brother was going to come on your platform and start dropping all that nonsense in the chat room. But I know why he did it, because he saw me in the chat room and he dropped all that stuff in there. And he's the kind of person that he'll drop these pre-prepared messages that have nothing to do with the damn top of the conversation. And so, yeah, I can say, I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought about doing a YouTube video where I just roast him and do clap back. But I said to myself, you know what? I'm wasting energy. I'm not gonna argue. If the brother comes in my chat room and he's disrespectful, I'll just simply block him out. And that's it. I'm not doing no YouTube videos. I'm not coming on here calling him. I'm not going to talk about him like a dog. But I do have to make it a fact that when we see people that troll our channels and they're coming into the channel and they're doing what they do to us, we got to defend ourselves sometimes. Because I was on a live chat with Nicole and we had a crew of hackers who came into her platform and started causing disruption. Right. And we got to defend each other. Okay. And I know that a lot's been going on YouTube where people are losing their channels, and I'm going to have to make some multiple channels because I already know that they're going to shut me down. They're coming for me because I was on with Keith Newsom last night. As soon as he started talking real talk on his program, all of a sudden, all my internet started going out in my apartment. Everything started acting weird, right? Okay? Because they're messing with us. They're using their abilities to control this platform to keep us from doing what we're doing. Now, when I hit stop and this live stream is over tonight, it's going to probably take about maybe 3 days before this live stream is fully to its completion. Because when I stop this, it's only going to probably play a little bit of it. And then it's going to take a long time for it all to process out. It's been doing that ever since. And I think that they're doing that to us, particularly us as black folks, because they don't want us unifying. They don't want us having a code. They don't want us talking about things that's going to empower us. They want us to talk about this stupid wedding in England. Right. This caveman that marries a black woman who doesn't even want to be black. Okay. Funny how nobody wants to talk about that, but they're going to talk about the caveman that got married. Okay. In England, a country that's responsible for the colonialization of African people, a country that's responsible for the invasion of many cultures around the world, putting that British flag every goddamn where they go. And we sitting up here as black folks celebrating this crap. There's no way in hell I'm going to celebrate the celebration of the UK or of Great Britain. It ain't that great, folks. Goddamn right. Thank you, Cap. Because this is a culture that has been evading and has been killing African people. All them criminals like the Germans and all these criminals that are going over to Africa, taking the land, all them white folks that stole the land from the Africans. Where do you think they come from originally? They come from Europe. They're the criminals that were kicked out of Europe. So therefore, how can we sit up here and celebrate this wedding or celebrate anything that's associated with this this monarchy or whatever the hell they call it. Okay, why are we celebrating it? What does it have to do with us as black folks in America? Not a goddamn thing. That's what I'm going to leave you with. And with that said, I'm gonna end this with a little bit of James Evans Sr. to conclude what we're doing tonight. And hang on for a minute, folks, while I play some of this James Evans Sr. to further open up one's mind. And thank you, Oyapo. Thank you, Odd Discourse.
Well, Michael, get ready for the 4th of July.
Won't do me any good, JJ. Whenever they get into heavy stuff, I always have to go to another room.
Michael, why don't you go into our room and study?
I knew it. Boy, I may get A's in school, but I'm going to flunk real life.
Now, what's all this foolishness about getting engaged? Well, Mr. Evans, if you'll just let me explain, I think you'll understand.
But you're too young to be engaged. Oh, I knew you would say that.
And you also should have known I was going to say no way, forget it, it ain't going to happen. And there's the door, whatever your name is.
Why? Just tell me why. Well, for one thing, you haven't finished your education. Tell me you had plans to go to college. I can still go.
Hey, Romeo, tell me something. How old are you? 20? Oh, you just a kid. But Dad, that's how old you were when you married Mom. Well, that was different.
Why?
Because you said so, that's why. What you upstairs? Why don't somebody say something?
Jesus has nothing to say. It really isn't all that important.
No, I know what you're thinking, baby. You're thinking I dogged you. Well, you're wrong. I just outsmarted that fancy personnel director, that's all. I didn't give him a chance to go into their old put-down routine. You know how it goes, baby.
Mr. Evans, as you know, we're an equal opportunity employer, so your color really isn't important.
Meanwhile, the dude is looking me up and down like he's trying to figure out how many watermelons a day I can knock off. Then the cat asked me, say,
Have you got any van and storage experience?
I mean, can you imagine the nerve of that cat asking me a question like that? Me, the one who moved every stick of furniture in this house in here with my bare hands and on my back? That's right, Dad. And you did a great job, too. This house looks professionally banned and storage. Damn right. But when I tell him that, does it get through to him? No. Then he says to me,
Mr. Evans, what is the extent of your educational background?
I said, well, I got a 6th grade education.
He said, well, it doesn't matter.
Meanwhile, the cat is writing on his pad like,
no way in the world I'm going to hire this dude.
Then he sticks out that 4-bit manicured hand and says,
thanks, Mr. Evans.
Don't call us, we'll call you, which is the same thing as a preacher pronouncing the last rites. Well, baby, this is one cat you didn't have a chance to take through them changes. No, sir. I fired him before he had a chance to fire me.
Okay, Michael, are you hurt?
No, Mom, I'm okay. Michael, you been fighting? Yeah, Daddy, I had to fight. Keith got beat up and robbed. And I don't know how bad Eddie's hurt, but I barely got away myself.
Oh, who is this dude? I'll tear him apart.
There was 6 of them.
Sounds like a job for Daddy. Shut up. I want to know what happened, Michael.
Well, Daddy, we were down the block selling the Defender, trying to raise money for our club, when these 6 cats from the State Knights came and started pushing us around. After they robbed Keith, one of them pulled the knife on me.
My God.
So I hit him with a stack of papers and ran.
Michael, maybe you could have really been hurt.
Oh, now calm down, baby. It's all over.
Yeah, for now. We gonna get back at those dudes.
No, you ain't getting back at nobody.
Daddy, what kind of club will we be if we let everybody push us around? That's what we stand for. Black pride. If you come down on a guy wearing one of these jackets, you coming down on all of us.
No, wait a minute, mister. You just back up. The only reason I let you join this club is because you said it stood for self-pride and awareness. But if your club is talking about revenge, then they become nothing but a gang and you just quit.
Hey, Daddy, you can't take my jacket from me.
Looks to me like I just did. Now, you want to discuss it?
No. What about black pride?
What about it? You don't need no game for that. You black, just be proud.
Ladies and gentlemen, I played that as an ending to the program tonight, and I played some of James Evans in the beginning because that was sort of around the theme of bringing back true manhood. And the reason why I focused on the good times, because that is the best of James Evans that you were listening to. All the key thing that he said to Michael is that you ain't joining no game. If you proud to be black, you are black, and be proud of being black, okay? And you can see in some of the clips that I played tonight how he was stern. He was a disciplinarian type of black man. He was in his family, working hard for his family, trying to make it, okay? He was raising JJ and Michael and his daughter Delma to be productive black people. James Evans Jr. and all the episodes that you watched of him on Good Times never compromise. And we as black men cannot be compromising. We have to continue to work towards being as perfectionist as possible. We've got to get our behinds out here, mentor young people, teach one, help one. We are a village, and the village must raise the child. We must raise it. We must hit that drum beat. So that's why I use James Evans as sort of the theme. And you'll see a thumbnail that I'll put on this with him on there of the discussion we had earlier tonight. Now, some of you that came in the chat room, you might have missed the discussion. I had a panel of all-star brothers on the panel tonight. Mr. Research blessed us tonight. Cap blessed us with his presence tonight. Lions Den. Locast came in for a short time. I was supposed to have Superfly 75 on, but he wasn't able to make it. I had brother Yapo came in and blessed us. Underrated Darkness came in and blessed us tonight. Of course, we had KD84 came in and blessed us tonight. Discourse blessed us tonight with his presence. I had a brother who goes by the name Food, Shelter, and Clothing. He's in Hawaii. He came on for a short time and had to get off, and he was dropping us with some Jews. We had Brother Sheep on tonight who was dropping us with some Jews tonight. And so it was a fantastic. And for those of you who might have missed some of the discussion, please play this back on the replay. And please put this through your social media and share it with your friends, your family, and your social media, because I think a lot of people need to hear this. This ain't about me, it's about us. And like I said, I'm going to start putting everybody's YouTube, when you guys go on live or you do videos that are really outstanding, I'm going to start, whether it be True Royal Family, whether it be Oyapo, whether it be Underrated Darkness or Marlo's Corner or any of the brothers out here, whether it be the Elder or Rashad, any of these brothers out here doing their thing. I think Gab Talk Media, I should have had him on the panel tonight. Forgot to send out a link to him. But any of these brothers or sisters, when you're doing something, and I'm at home just watching what you're doing, I'm going to put your information in my social media and spread it out to everybody. So we should be doing that for all of each other, because we have to rise together or we're going to all fall for nothing. Okay, we got to come together. So I want to thank you, True Royal Family. I hope everything's going well for you in Los Angeles, and the graduation and everything will be beautiful. It has been beautiful for you. And thanks to everybody out there. So with that said, I'm gonna put an end to this tonight. Thank you. Damn, this is so great. Just to give you guys a heads up. I don't want you guys to get sick of me. I'm trying to think whether I should do it tomorrow with a live stream or should I do it next week. I have a sister that I went to college with. She was a dispatcher with the San Francisco police. Her name is Ambra. And she told me that the San Francisco Police Department is corrupt as you don't know what. And she experienced it as a dispatcher, that many times they would call her and she knew people were lying on black people, that they were reporting, just like that cave beast in Oakland who was messing with those black men barbecuing and was lying on the phone as to what was going on. She was dealing with that kind of stuff, and she's got some insight because she had to sue or has been suing and been out in the litigation against the San Francisco police. So she told me that she's available to go on tomorrow for a live stream or next week, family. But if y'all getting sick of me and y'all want to get, I can let y'all have a break from me, and I can do this with this sister next week. If y'all want me to do this tomorrow, put a message in the chat room before you go over to Cap, who's doing it after hours right now in his chat. Let me know if you want me to do this tomorrow, and if I do it, it's not going to be late. It'll be 3 o'clock Western time, which will be 6 o'clock Eastern time, and maybe like 5 o'clock or something in the South. It won't be late. It'll be at a decent time during the day, and it won't interfere with anybody else's live streams that they're going to do in the evening time. So let me know if y'all would like me to do that tomorrow with this sister. Just give me a number 1 in the chat room, or maybe say yes. Give me a yes if you want me to do it. If you don't, if you want a break from me, I'll give you guys a break from me for a little bit. I'm just trying to bring information to you, brothers and sisters out there, because she worked in the system and she saw what they were doing. So you guys want me to do it tomorrow? I'm seeing ones in there. Okay, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to let her know that we're going to fire it up tomorrow she told me to call her about 3 o'clock. So I'll fire it up about 3 or 4 o'clock tomorrow. And that's 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock my time. And I'll give you guys a live stream quick video in the morning just to remind everybody. And we're going to bring her on. And all I'm going to simply do is interview her. And she's going to tell you her account and what she went through, what she's doing, the lawsuit, the games that they play. This is going on across the country. And this is coming from someone that was a dispatcher in the police department in San Francisco. So everybody put up 1, which tells me that you want me to do this tomorrow. So it's going to go down. And I want to thank you all for your support. And black men, we need to bring back true black manhood. We need to personify it. With that said, this is Information Man. I like to say to everybody, get your butts over to Cap and check out his after hours party, live stream party. And I'm going to give everybody a beautiful clap because we're out of here.